Hello and welcome to another episode of Manifest Actual Play. I just got into the realization that no one who is playing with me can currently hear me because I am set to push to talk on Discord, but all of you can hear me, and that's what's important. So, excuse me for one moment while I open up to switch off push to talk.
Smooth start.
I'll actually, I'll give it 1 second. Welcome to another episode of Manifest Actual Play. You all will be able to hear me while I continue to mess with this. My name is Tommy Cotton. With me, as always, is Seth Lilly, Dan Barron, Roman Mylan, and Addy Gia. And we are here to play Manifest the RPG with y'all. But before we get into any of the actual play or any of the recap or anything like that, I want to toss attention over to start with Addy. Addy, do we have any announcements?
Yes. So many. So first we'll start off with the very much ones that you've heard before. My light just fell over. We're all together, totally prepared today. No. Okay. We are Manifest the RPG. We're here every Tuesday night. And if you want to be reminded of that, you can always hit that follow button down below. And if you've got the bandwidth, cash, or an empty Prime, Amazon Prime subscription slot, you can subscribe down below. All the money that comes in goes straight back into our very cool stream to make it cooler with art, alerts, fun emotes, and whatnot. So if you can go ahead and enter your info down below, hit those like, follow, subscribe buttons. You can also find us on Twitter and on Facebook. And we like to pretend we're also on Instagram. One day we're going to put some awesome on the gram. And
our Instagram is the hottest Instagram.
I keep telling them to let me take it over, and they won't do it.
Listen, if you look at our Instagram, the clues are all there, and that's all I'll say.
In addition, we've gotten some really cool ideas for our first line of merch that we're hoping to release sometime soon and related to the stream. And if you've got an idea, we want to hear about it. So send it to one of our socials or put it in the chat because we have some great ideas, some mugs, some hats, some shirts, but we want to know what you would like to buy. So put that in the chat anytime. I am lurking there always. And then I think that is it for me right now. So I'm going to pass it over to Dan.
I steal the spotlight. It's my spotlight now. I'm here to tell you about charities. Every month, we like to highlight a charity that's doing good work out in the world. If you have the bandwidth, the time, or the money to help them out in their mission, that would be great because they do good stuff, and more good stuff is always better. This month, our charitable organization is RAINN. It's RAINN. They're the nation's largest anti-sexual violence organization. They operate the National Sexual Assault Hotline. They run programs to prevent sexual violence, help survivors, and bring perpetrators to justice. They have a 24/7 helpline available at rainn.org. They do great work. You should take a look and learn more about them.
And with that, I want to take a moment to tell any of you who don't know, though I can tell already, based on the
nobody doesn't know
the queue I have of rewards I need to clear through. There's cool things you can do with channel points. You can spend your channel points, which we call viewer grit, to give grit to the players or the GM. In doing so, you interact with the gameplay. Players can have a maximum of 12 grit. I, the GM, have no such maximum. You can just keep pouring grit my way, and I will spend it at them, giving them grit, so you can get them grit via me. If you just use me as a middleman, it's a lot cheaper for you and a lot more fun for me.
It's like an insurance scam over here.
I mean, he's starting to get more honest about it.
Multi-level grit marketing.
So let's see. I already see some people have gifted some grit, so let's go ahead and get that out of the way. Argitlam, 1 grit to Gus, 1 grit to Eloise, 1 grit to Dex, and 1 grit to Porter. So that's a grit for each of ya.
Thank you.
And then we have 2 additional grit for Porter. 1 from Fiddler Undone with the Porter emote followed by the Misfire emote. And then
Every week.
another one from Ryak that is just says enjoy.
Thanks, Ryak. I will.
You can use that one for anything you want, Seth. Whatever you want.
On top of that, you'll already see there's all sorts of fun emotes you can get if you subscribe. There's 1 for each character. There's the Misfire for tier 2 subscription, and our tier 3 subscription emote did come through. There it is. It's a little chibi Tommy with a cowboy hat. There it is in the chat. So tier 3 subscribers can get that, or you can spend your channel points to unlock it for the duration of the stream. In addition to that, if you donate any bits, you also get access, depending on how many you donate, to Roland, Kinsey, and Pax from the last session or season. I do think it's a pretty big donation. I wouldn't recommend it exactly. I don't want to tell you to like donate 10 bits and you'll get it. Yeah. So somebody actually already has the Roland one. I don't know who it is, but it says 1 viewer has unlocked the Roland. And that is at 1,000 bits. And 5,000 bits is Kinsey and 10,000 bits. Because she's so hard to find. Yeah, so congrats to whoever the person is who unlocked the Roland emote. That's fun. Okay, so with that, our announcements are all out of the way.
Actually, I have one more, and it's more of a personal one. So it's, I mean, not really personal, but so there's some online shenanigans happening around the 24th. If you don't know about it, it's fine. But for those of you who are of our viewers, there is a actual serious threat that is potentially being levied against female online personalities for the 24th, on the 24th. So just be careful out there, everybody. Saturday is going to be a hot mess, right? Saturday's the 24th, so be careful. Unfortunately, I'm going to vague book the crap out of this. If you're interested, there are some accounts. Rain has a statement as well on their site. So you can go there. Okay. Anyway, sorry for the dour stuff, but I did want to say that.
No, that's important.
Yeah, it's super important. Be okay, everybody. But I do have 2 quick announcements that are different in tone. The first announcement is Happy 420. Just wanted to get that out there.
Happy Tobacco Use Only Day, everybody.
Happy, yes, wonderful. I love that. The second thing is just a quick reminder. I know I talked about it last week, but episode 100 of my podcast, All Sequels Go to Heaven, comes out tomorrow on the 1998, I think, 96, 98 classic Meet Joe Black, where Brad Pitt gets hit by 2 cars so bad, and it's wonderful. Please check it out. We've got some poll quotes from previous guests, Dan Barron and Adi Gia, who are kind enough to contribute and have been on the podcast before. So give it a listen if you'd like. We'd really appreciate it.
And I have one final thing, which is, oh my God, Argit Lam. Argatlom
My
did.
absolute
Argatlom found
hero.
packs. Argatlom did 10,000 bits. Argatlom has
Holy
unlocked.
shit.
Oh my god,
Absolute
Argatlom.
champion. Wow.
Oh wow.
I have to say, I guess you were right to put the clearly best emote at the highest tier.
She's the hardest to find, an Argatlom founder. Congrats, Argatlom. Thank you so much. Oh my god. God, that's so cool. And there you, yeah, you dropped them all in the chat. You got the whole team from last season. Beautiful. Argatlom, you are
That's
a wonderful, gorgeous
Wow.
human being. We love you so much.
It's true.
And on that extreme high note, we are going to take a moment to transport our minds to the world of Manifest while we look at some cool character art. Ooh. All right. So, previously on Manifest the RPG, Manifest Actual. These four drifters have been in the mountains, begrudgingly working alongside the Fort Dearborn militia to track down a threat, a creature that had attacked some Fort Dearborn's transplants. Who were coming here to start a life and start their own homestead here in Fort Dearborn. This creature defied all expectations and explanation until it was defeated to reveal that it wasn't a creature at all. This massive hulking thing with glowing energy within it and this dark regenerating like bark-like hide broke apart when it died to reveal that it was in fact a man by the name of Jack Taylor, who went out with a bit of a bang and knocked all four of these drifters unconscious. I have to pause for a second. Ryak just did 10,000 bits also. Ryak, oh my god, I love you.
Oh shit.
Unreal
Oh,
game.
man.
Unreal.
Oh my god.
incredible.
Ryak calls out the battle.
Oh, snap. Oh, man.
Bits fight. Bits fight.
Wow. Okay. So, continuing the recap, you both are amazing. We love you. Thank you, Argatlom. Thank you, Ryak. Oh my god. They defeated Jack Taylor, were knocked unconscious, and the militia spirited away Jack's body. on the other side of the ravine. The ravine made able to be transported across by none other than Eloise, who created this kind of ski lift gondola type contraption that will get across the ravine. And that leads back to Waypoint. They got in a bit of an argument with Captain Schaefer, the captain in charge of these squads of militia, as he basically demanded their obedience and patience, and they had very little of that to give him at this point. And so tensions are a little high there, but they got away from that conversation without any extreme immediate consequence. I believe that's pretty close to where we ended off. You guys made your way out of the tent after finishing your talk with Schaefer. You all left at different times, and like the very last thing I think we saw was Dex. As you were moving across the camp, you saw a troop of, I think, like 6 or 7 soldiers who were transporting the body on the other side of the ravine of Jack Taylor. Tattooed on the heel of Jack Taylor's bare foot was that same symbol that Dex saw etched into the gun of one of the bandits running around with Kenny Mathis, who sessions. This symbol is circular in shape, but it is broken. That circle is broken by a somewhat like diamond-like rhombus, and there's 3 dots outside and below the circle. He has that tattooed on his foot, and he moves out of your line of sight, Dex, disappearing into the mountainscape. And you also note that not only is the gondola on the other side of the ravine at this point, but the section where the gondola like returns to is now heavily guarded.
Sure. I think I was headed towards Gus and Eloise because, as if I recall correctly, it does look like Eloise is having a nervous breakdown.
I mean, I think that's accurate.
Yeah, so I'll make my way over there. I think the last thing was Gus just like enveloping you in an enormous hug.
It sounds right.
That's accurate. Yeah, that's it. I believe I'm currently crying, maybe a little bit, a lot.
Hey Dex, yeah, she needs a moment. It's been a lot.
Yeah, I get it.
Yep. I don't know. I had some thoughts about maybe what, I don't know. I just had sort of a brain go. My brain went. My brain went a place, and I don't know. My brain went a place, and I'd like to see if you think that place is real.
I think I follow. Yeah.
So, you remember the Mathis gang?
Yeah.
What if, I don't know. I was just thinking, me and Elle, like, how good it'd be to be in a place. How good it'd be to be in a place with just illuminated people, where like we could all fight for each other and like nobody be mean to us, you know? Or like, you know, what if that's what the Mathis gang's trying to do? They're getting LRC parts so they can make their own LRC, make their illuminated town. Just illuminated people live there, and everyone's chill. Like the militia can't come and like fight all of them.
I didn't talk to him, but Kenny Mathis didn't seem like what I would call chill.
Nah, he's not chill. He wants like a place that's chill. Like, I don't know. Sometimes like, so Warkins, like, they hunt up in the mountains a lot, right? But sometimes when it gets to be the winter and there's not as much food up there, it's all migrated, or maybe some of it's frozen and died. then they start to come down and they start to, go through our coops and start to break through our fences. Sometimes when I don't know when things are bad where you are, when you get pushed, then you got to do some sort of desperate things.
The kind of place you're describing, I can see the appeal. Kenny Mathis is a murderer.
Yeah,
He killed a good man to use as bait.
He did kill that guy, but I wonder what happened there.
He used him as bait, is what happened there.
I guess I don't know. I don't know. My brain's all messed up. I was trying to think about where we could go.
To answer your question, that seems plausible. I don't
Oh,
like that place
wait.
being a
Sorry.
thing.
Is plausible good?
Plausible is not good or bad. It just is.
All right. Okay, keep going.
The idea that Mathis is trying to make a place for illuminated people seems plausible. But that place being somewhere that you and Eloise are safe doesn't. Because at some point, Mathis is going to have to do something bad to get what he wants to keep that place, right? If that's what he's doing. And if you're there, he's going to ask you to help. And if
What
you
do you
help,
mean bad?
like killing a man to use as bait.
I mean, I don't know. What if he doesn't? What if he's just scared or I don't know, frustrated? I don't know. Look, I can't speak for what he's done, but I don't know. Maybe
My
he's
point
got
is, I think it's a
answers?
thing worth looking into. But that doesn't make him okay.
That's fine. Can we talk to him before you shoot him? I feel like we get a lot more answers that way.
Not a promise I can make, Gus.
All right, Dex. All right, we'll talk about it. Okay. All right. I don't know. Well, what do you think we should do? How do we get out of here?
Well, they just took Jack Taylor's body across the ravine. And now there's, what is it? It's like 10 or 11 soldiers standing guard at this side of the gondola, Tommy.
Let's see. It is I think probably 5 right now. Just like straight up standing guard.
Okay.
And then
Yeah,
there's
so
other
the-
soldiers about, but the camp is pretty thin. Like to that point, with a bunch of them escorting that body away, you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 soldiers, not including Captain Schaefer, who are currently still breaking down the camp to leave.
Okay, so yeah, they just took Jack Taylor's body across the ravine, and they've got 5 standing guard at this end of the new bridge thing.
Porter, at this point, you're leaving Schaefer's tent. You see your companions on the other side of what is left of the Eloise, wiping her eyes as she pulls away from Gus.
Yeah, I just remembered ostensibly we've been having this whole conversation with just Eloise in a big hug.
Just what you needed.
My
yeah,
guess
and
is they're gonna try and keep us here to use it last.
I'd say they're not going to let us out of their sight based on the conversation I just had. Listen, Gus and Eloise, I'd like to apologize. I think I've been kind of in a protective mode over you two, and I don't think I've been treating you as capable people. So I apologize for that. I know that at least for the time being, we're a group of people, and I shouldn't be trying to. I mean, obviously, I can't protect you physically, but trying to keep you away from all of the bad things that these people might do. I'm sorry for not treating you like capable people. I know you are. I think Captain Schaefer right now, are we like a good distance away from anybody?
Yeah. I mean, there's 5 soldiers that are guarding the entry, like, to the gondola as it returns. There's 1 soldier inside the gondola who's bringing it back, and then there's 4 soldiers that are like breaking down the last of the supplies and like starting to cart them over towards the gondola.
I'll still be careful. Captain Schaefer will want us to go back with them, and I think that maybe that's the best thing to do for now, at the very least. I think we'll be at a better footing if we're back at Waypoint. We just have to make sure that that's where we're going. What do you think? I mean, I don't see any other way out of this.
I'm not exactly keen to fight what's left of a militia regiment.
Right. Are they? Oh, did they use the thing?
They did. Actually. They didn't want my help or nothing, so
I'm sorry, Eloise. That means that they're definitely gonna have at least somebody to Waypoint before we get there. So
I don't think the people they sent ahead are stopping in Waypoint.
oh,
Well, they're carrying Jack Taylor's body, so
guess I won't have a look at that then either.
I starting to think maybe that's why they sent him while we were in Schaefer's tent.
No, absolutely. Okay, well, maybe for now the best thing is to rest while we can, and we'll move out when they move out, I suppose.
Yeah, all right. Hey, no worries, Porter. Thanks for, you can keep me away from bad stuff all you want.
I appreciate that. I think you've saved my skin a time or two.
Yeah. You got to get that dang gun of yours under control. That thing's wild.
It was working fine, I swear, before we left. I'll take a look at it. I'll take a look at it.
Yeah, might be for the best. I could teach you how to punch.
I just don't think I could probably punch as hard as you, even if I could.
Yeah, well, not with that form.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
I can give you pointers.
All right. So you guys are resting up then?
I think I don't need. Let me make sure this is true. I don't need to actually rest. So I'd like to do a little more research on the sample that I have, if I can.
Yes, you did collect a little bit of a sample of some residue from Jack Taylor's body out of Gus's gauntlet. And at this point, you go, and as everyone's kind of settling down, you do see that you have some findings. So you kind of set down with your med kit, and you actually like pull a little panel out of it, which like you set like a little like headband that like starts at like the middle of your forehead and wraps around to the back of your head, and like and then like comes down and touches, like has 2 points like here. And as you do that, it kind of like taps into your like sensory like organs a little bit, and you can actually see just kind of like a little ahead of you. It's kind of like a subtle way to look through the data without there being a huge hologram.
Sure.
And so there's like, it's not like a super sophisticated thing, but you can see like words, and that's what you need right now to be able to read what's going on. Yeah. So with the help of your med kit, you are one of the things you were particularly interested in was if there was anything related to the tonic that you received from Staff Sergeant Donovan. And the answer is like no. You don't see any properties that tie the sample you have to Donovan's. One thing you get is this skin, like this flaky black, like, you know, almost charcoal bark like hide that was around Jack is inorganic. It doesn't come up as like it doesn't have any DNA traces or anything like that. But you can tell, like, much like a lot of things on Manifest, there's like kind of a carry through as far as like luminescence goes. Like a lot of the like landscape and organisms on Manifest are influenced by luminescence, and you can also see this on like Eloise would be able to tell you potentially, but you've at least heard in vague detail that like one of the things about luminescence is the fact that it's a substance that can be, through various different processes, be used for a lot of different things. It can be synthesized in a lot of different ways. And there's ways to kind of like tell when something has been created by luminescence. It's not a foolproof thing, and it's not an exclusive thing, but a lot of times there are those traces of like luminescent style, like energy molecules and so on that you sense here. But it's an inorganic thing, and from what you can tell, it is a non-naturally occurring thing as well. So your best guess is that hide it wasn't Jack Taylor pulling something, and it wasn't a piece of Jack Taylor himself. It was something that he was creating in the moment. Go ahead and roll first aid for me.
Sure.
We'll go ahead and put it at a -5.
-5.
And this is not something your med kit will help you with. This is a general, like, do you know?
Okay. Even better. Ooh. Well, it's just a misfire. It's not grave though, because I did get 2 successes. First roll of the session. Welcome everybody. Thanks for coming.
It's immediately.
First roll.
Right away.
First roll, we get a misfire from him.
I do have 3 grit that was specifically given to me by Ryak. Should I use it? What do you think?
That's for you and your teammates to discuss. It is just a standard misfire.
No, yeah, that's to my 2 teammates.
If it will help you, so you could use that 3 to disappear the misfire, or would that 3 get you more hits on the test?
Yeah, no.
So you could go it strong. Okay.
Yeah, I have 2 successes and a 20.
Hey, that grit was given to you for one reason and one reason only.
That's what I was thinking. All right. I'm will scrape by for this one. So it's a full success. Full 2
Okay,
successes.
but like
Thank
after
you,
the stream,
Ryan.
can you show us like how you are rolling the dice? Or maybe it's a
Sitting on a
technique
tower?
thing.
No.
Here's the
I did
thing.
it when I was free rolling. It was the same thing.
We've tried everything. We gave him new dice. We gave him a new dice tray. We gave him a dice tray with a dice tower. And still.
So it's gotta be Seth.
What we need to do is we need to get him playing D&D.
Yeah. Honestly,
you know.
yeah.
Let's start a sister Twitch stream. I'm all about it.
This dude can't not roll 20s. Random Jerk does give you +1 grit, Porter.
Thank you,
so
Random
you're up,
Jerk.
you're up
That's
to 3
very
now.
nice of you.
Wow.
Goodness.
One of y'all make sure you put that in the chat. I've been keeping a timestamp for all of the misfires. I'm going to do a montage of all of Seth's misfires.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm looking at all of my posts previously posted in the chat. First roll, first misfire. Last week, grave misfire again. Week before, Porter's in the chat for another grave misfire.
Fantastic. Okay, so Porter, you're sitting there and you're like, okay, and you go to pull off the device you're using to kind of subtly look at this data, and you get a shock, and you realize like, oh wait, hold on, I have to like power it down. It can actually really mess with you if you pull it off without like letting it like the energy charge down.
Right.
It's a very delicate piece of machinery. You're hold on, and so you stop.
Gotta eject the
to eject the flash, otherwise the data's gonna get corrupted. Yeah.
Right.
No, yeah. So you go when it powers down, and then you remove it, and you start thinking about it a little bit. Like you've seen the findings, you can now look at them on a smaller screen and not have to like struggle to read them. And got 2 successes, you said?
That's right.
So I'm laughing because everything that happened prior to you rolling. So you're sitting there and you're thinking about like the fabricating of the material. You're thinking about like, okay, well, it's probably a luminescent power, that kind of thing. And then you realize there's something a little weird about it, because you remember like one time a while back when you were just like doing some like medic work on one of your first jobs in the shipping lanes. You just had an affinity for it. They didn't really have a doctor. Like there was like a person who kind of like had been a medic in like had gone through like basic medic training in the Markham's Landing militia, and they taught you a couple things, and then they weren't there anymore, so you were alone. And there was a point where you found out that one of your crewmates, like someone who worked the ship, was illuminated because there was an accident, and he reactively, like instinctively used his stone skin power to like harden his flesh with like this kind of like extra like dermal plating. And you treated that wound, and you remember that like while it looked like rock that was part of his flesh, that was organic material. He had basically transmuted his own like skin to become this rock-like substance,
Sure.
which is different than what Jack Taylor was doing.
Right.
And that is particularly alarming to you because like what very little you know about like the biological nature of illuminated people, like creating something from nothing would at least require a tremendous amount of power.
Sure.
And as far as you know, is completely unheard of.
Right. Oh, wild. So he was basically like fabricating his armor as we were fighting him. So that's what was breaking away. He wasn't actually getting injured. It was just shattering this armor. That's wild. Yep. Okay.
And so that's what you get as everyone else rests up. Or day.
Actually, I have 2 things to accomplish. Okay. So the first one is I have a paper to write. So I write my account like I said I would of the excursion out when we defeated Jack, and then um omitting only
Oh, you're
um
making it like a written statement for
yeah,
the
like I
militia?
said I would. I'm a very reliable individual. And then I also um uh will stow my armor since it is broken at the moment.
Right,
Um
because last session, at the beginning of that session, you rolled a maintenance roll for your power armor, and it was a bad roll, so it was malfunctioning last session.
right. So rather
And so
than
you're not. I get it. Yeah, because mechanically, if you were to use the armor at all, you'd have to roll another maintenance roll because it's a new session.
yeah, and then it would potentially get worse. And it's already very expensive to repair. So I will stow my armor and make a mental note to make secondary armor for myself. If only I had a random medium armor that I just had lying around for I don't know months or weeks.
Who would do
Um,
that? Who would just carry around?
who would just carry around a second set of armor? Um, um, and then the second thing is I will attempt to cross the gondola via the gondola to go salvage.
Okay. So as you approach, I mean, so what? I mean, like everyone else is resting.
Mhm.
Dex
Yeah.
and Gus.
Yeah, I have lost all track of what time of day any of this is now that we've marched overnight
Well, you
for
got
a night and a half, and like, just tell me what time of day it
You
is
got-
and if I should be asleep.
you got
Lunch
knocked
break.
out, right? You got knocked out in the middle of the night by Jack Taylor. It was like 1 or 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
You woke up about 8 hours later, so it is morning time, right?
Okay.
But you didn't you were knocked out. You didn't get rest.
Okay, so I don't need to sleep. I just need to lay low, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have anything to recover or anything like that, like you basically.
Well, I guess can I rest mechanically without going to bed is basically what I'm asking.
Sort of. You stayed up, or no, you guys, your sleep schedule's all messed up because you slept before going out on patrol. So yeah, you can rest, like maybe you nod off here and there, just like as like kind of like taking like little naps, but like for the most part, no, you can definitely rest without having to like fall asleep. Because your sleep schedule and you resting are 2 different things. You just need to spend a significant amount of time resting. So like you can't really do much during that, except for like a bit of crafting. Otherwise, it doesn't as a rest. But you don't necessarily have to sleep.
Then yeah, I think I'm just like laying low and chilling, maybe meditating.
Okay.
Like checking the sights on my gun.
Cool.
Yeah. Did we get any healing when we were in the doctor tent?
Your injuries retreated a little.
Okay. I don't have those. I don't have those. I have missing HP. So yeah, Gus is gonna rest.
Okay, cool. Eloise, are you being particularly sneaky about going to the gondola, or are you just kind of like marching? Like basically, your friends are like, they're not dead asleep or anything like that. So, like you getting up and walking away, like they'll notice unless you do something else. I don't know if that's of concern to you, but I just want to give you like the scene that you're walking.
Yeah, no, I mean, so I write my affidavit or whatever it's supposed to be called, and then I use a spare piece of paper for my own purposes to be revealed later, and then I will go deliver it to um our liaison,
Oh, Breckenridge? He is still
Breckenridge.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, I will go give that to him. And then from there, I was going to head over to the landing site.
Sure. Breckenridge is basically he's actually you find him near the gondola because what's been happening during this time has been the soldiers breaking down parts of the camp and then transporting it across. And so he's like kind of managing that, and then he turns and he goes, Miss Reynolds, how can I be of service?
Um, I when we met with the captain, he said he would be interested in a written account of what happened on our excursion. So I have that for him.
Oh,
I think
right.
I thought maybe you could give it to him because you're supposed to be sort of our go-between, if that's okay.
Absolutely, yes. Not untoward at all. Reaches out his hand for the papers.
I gave it to him. Nothing.
He doesn't even look at them. He like kind of like folds them in his.
Cool. And then also I was wondering, so as part of our what I worked out with you and the captain was that I would salvage the fallen bridge um to replace the militia's resources. And I know that it ain't something that you all are very interested in letting any of us across at the moment because you're maintaining your supply lines. But I didn't want to delay us any further, so I thought maybe I could ride over to the other side and start salvaging for the militia
Well, it's
as per the agreement.
might be a bit hard to do. We are working on what you might call a skeleton crew at this moment. I wouldn't be able. I mean, I can check with Captain, but I ain't I ain't in a position to authorize anything like that. Currently, the orders are to military personnel only using the transport. But I do see the benefit of the salvaging, and if you think it will take you some time, I can't imagine the captain would say no to that. The hardest part would be you probably need to be supervised since you'd be right in the middle of the supply chain. And then a voice comes out from around the corner. And Corporal Jaeger speaks up. He's the one who brought the gondola back. And he speaks up and goes, Captain, Sergeant, I was supposed to go on break, but if Miss Reynolds needs to do some salvaging, I mean, I've got the hang of operating this thing, and I could supervise her. I don't feel much like resting, sir. Breckenridge goes, all right then. I'll take that to the captain. Ms. Reynolds, if you go ahead and give me no longer than 10, 15 minutes, I'll have a word with the captain and make sure it's all good. And as long as I can get this authorized, I'll deliver these papers to him. And, well, Corporal Jaeger, you're sure? I mean, you've been going all day and night. And Jaeger goes, Miss Reynolds has sacrificed a lot for people here. I can sacrifice a little bit of my time. Help her out. All right, then. All right, yeah. Just a moment. Jaeger, get yourself some food and water before anything else. That's an order. Ms. Reynolds, if you could, I'll come get you once I get the captain's blessing.
Okay. Sorry to be such a trouble.
Ain't no trouble at all, man, says Jaeger, as he goes to flash himself a little bit. And Breckenridge marches off towards the tent. And Eloise, you do return, and there's about like 10 minutes where you're with your companions.
Sure.
Probably, if you maybe saw that, I guess maybe Gus, you're actually sleeping. Dex, actually, I think at the very least Porter saw it. Because Porter's not resting at all, right?
No.
So Porter's just straight up not resting at all. So Porter definitely sees that as Porter. It's like during that moment, Porter, when you're like sitting there kind of thinking about like what you know about illuminated powers and kind of coming to the realizations you have. Eloise returns from having a word with what looks like Breckenridge and Yeager.
Yeah. What did they say? I mean, I know you were gonna give them a report, but
They're just seeing if I can go across.
oh, you're gonna do the salvage then?
As per the agreement.
I'd say you've done a lot to hold up an agreement that doesn't seem to be getting reciprocated.
So I'm gonna go sit across from Porter, just sort of like looking at him. I like settle down and I go. That is Alexa. Hold on, Alexa. Shush.
She said her armor was malfunctioning. You knew this.
It's an AI. Yeah, so I settle down in front of him and so my whole life has been plagued by the fact that I'm illuminated, which to degrees of, I guess. And so I've worked real hard at being useful so that doesn't come back and bite me. And so they don't have to. They're bigger and stronger in every way.
Hmm.
And so instead of, I mean, I don't want to. Unfortunately, it wasn't achievable without their help. So now, if it doesn't matter if they hold up their end of the bargain by like treating me fine or whatever, they gave their end of the bargain was giving me the supplies in order to create the conveyance. And so now, just to make sure I don't owe 'em nothing, um, I'm just gonna do the things that I said I would, and then they can't say I didn't do those things.
I suppose that's true. We don't need anything else to be held against us, I suppose. Especially you. For all of the things that you've done for them. I mean, you're the person that defeated Jack Taylor.
And I didn't do that. Not really. That was
It was kind of you. I
I
think it
kind of just
was.
got really lucky.
Well,
I mean, Gus put a walloping on him, and then there were so many bullets. I just sort of got lucky with my timing. I'm I mean, if things had happened differently, and that monster had decided to attack me instead of Ralston and Dex, um, when we were separated, um, I just
I,
would be dead. So
I think you spotted the opportune moment and you did that, and that takes tactics and skill. I think it was really impressive. I think you're an impressive person, and I think you know that.
gotta be.
Well, if you need help with the salvaging, I'm not much for technology or machines or things like that, but anything I can do.
I mean, I don't know if they'll let you come, but
Hmm.
I wouldn't mind spending the time. But It looks like you're working on something.
Oh, actually I pulled a bit of the Jack Taylor's skin off of, well, what I thought was Jack Taylor's skin off of Gus's knuckles, and it's not what I thought it was. You know, I know that some illuminated people can make their skin into like armor, into like a rocky kind of substance. Have you heard of that? And it's
yeah.
And it's not that. So I don't know. I haven't worked out what it is yet.
Oh,
I know. Isn't that strange?
I don't like anything that happened with that man.
No. I wish that he hadn't died. For as much damage as he was doing, he seemed like he was in pain.
Yeah. I wish he didn't die too.
Well, I don't know if you can sleep, but just rest for a moment. If they come back, I'll come get you, and we can see if you can go across.
I mean, he said it would be quick, so I mean,
Okay.
and you know,
You just want to sit here with me?
I'd like that.
I would too. Here, take a look at this actually. And can I like transfer the thing over to her, or like can I beam it to her multi-tool? I don't know how that works.
Omni-tool? Yeah, absolutely.
Omni-tool. Right.
Yeah, you pull out a cord on your med kit, run it over to your Omni-tool, pop it in, and a little like screen pops up, and see the findings that Porter.
These are so weird.
I know.
They don't
Like-
follow the laws of physics at all.
I
mean, there's a lot of stuff that like doesn't follow physics, but like
you don't come into contact with it every day.
how did it? This is real dangerous.
Eloise, you can roll lore.
Cool.
It's 5.
-5? Okay. Well, we'll see. That explodes.
Every time I give Addie a negative.
That's 2 hits.
Okay. Kind of looking at Porter's kind of like organized his findings a little bit, so you don't have to draw to the same conclusion he did. He has it like kind of mapped out. What you're able to tell, specifically as someone who is illuminated and did at an early age have scientists and doctors trying to find out things about your illuminated potential. And also just someone who understands like the laws of physics and just a lot of the practical and sometimes impractical applications of luminescence in technology. The specific kind of like carbonate or whatever, like the type of material, just the basic type of material that this thing was fabricating on the fly using nothing but luminescent energy to create. Because a lot of times luminescence is like combined with something else to make a thing. And this was just coming out of what Porter can tell is just pure luminescence. Or at least like luminescent energy. And you can tell that something like that wire continued, like it would deteriorate. It would have too short of a half-life without continued input of energy. And based on what you saw and what Porter has found here, you can draw the conclusion that, and also what you experienced firsthand, you can draw the conclusion that this thing, like, it killed that horse and killed people and seemed to draw energy from them. and then when it hit you with that like beam, it sucked the shine out of you. Like that thing subsisted. Jack Taylor was alive because he subsisted purely on luminescent energy. Like that energy like permeates pretty much all of the fabric of Manifest, living creatures, inanimate objects, etc. That energy is just here to a very small degree. That's kind of that thing that Porter knows as far as like, oh, well, all like, much like how on Earth, all like life is based from carbon, like on Manifest, it's more like all life is based on like luminescence. And he needed, like, Jack Taylor was in a state, he needed to draw that energy to maintain his form.
So this is so he wasn't Porter. So the thing is about this data. If you're looking at it, it's like you can't know without like context, right? So like there's no way that you can know, but like if you did know, then like it would be like you'd be like, whoa, big brain moment. But like so basically that beam that he shot out, it was not a laser, it wasn't a force, it was like a like traction, it was like suction. And so what he was doing when he killed that horse and when he killed all of those people, and you could see that luminescence just being drained as the life force was being sucked into him. It was so he could maintain what he was. So he wasn't killing people just willy-nilly because he was like a murderous, like degenerate, evil monster thing. He was doing it so he could stay alive. And
He
so
was
like
literally just trying to survive.
yeah, it was based. It's kind of like how like you can overload something, but as long as you continue to overload it, the collapse of the energy is the thing that creates the explosion. So it's like that for him. That's probably what happened when when I killed him, is that he like all of that energy finally had nowhere to go and was dispersed, and that was the shockwave.
Ah,
So what this could be is that like he was so whatever happened to him to like set off that chain reaction, like I don't know if it was him or somebody else doing it to him, or if
right.
he's a evolution in luminescent abilities, or I don't know. But what I do know is that like his motives, I don't think were necessarily murderous on purpose.
He's not evil. He's just a starving person.
Yeah.
That's what would make a person like that? Do you think was he already illuminated before, or did somebody like
If he was
how could that?
illuminated before, maybe somebody was trying to like jump him, like like or like turn him into something bigger, or maybe they're trying to use him as a battery, and so they were like overloading him, and so then he like so to create sort of more force, and so that they could use that luminescence to imbue something or maybe even someone. But I don't know. I mean, it could be so many things, and like I can't even imagine the science where you're like doing that on a person, unless you don't think of them as a person. Unless you're
That
doing it to yourself, and then you're doing the whole, like, the evil scientist thing.
right. I mean, I suppose that's possible. I don't know anything about Jack Taylor, but we could find out probably if he was an evil scientist.
Yeah.
Right. If it was somebody who did something to him, I think we have a pretty good idea who would do that, or who would have the resources.
I mean, there is, like, a likely culprit,
Yeah,
certainly, but
right.
also it could be a faction. I mean, already, like
That's true.
Gus was like, "Well, we should go to a place where there's only us," and that's, like,
Hmm.
the first step of radicalization, you know? And so then, like, it could totally be somebody who's just been feeling the derision that this territory has developed over and like even since I've come here, there's just been like an increased rhetoric. And we even went to Las Viudas and they were like, get out of here with that. And it's like, it's all over the territory, but luckily it seems to be only in this territory, at least so far, but I haven't left Waypoint except for these two very exciting
It's not
things that
just
we've
this
done over the
territory, I
past
could
couple
say
weeks.
that.
I mean, there's a difference between like curiosity and fear and abjuration and hate.
That's true.
And I've only felt that here for the most part, except for my family. But I don't want to talk about that, even though I am. So I just forget I said that. Anyway,
What said what?
that my family
I
was.
don't. It's okay. We're not talking about that. That's fine.
But like easily, it's been like on the uptick. It could easily have been like I've seen those flyers, right? And people could
Right.
see those flyers, and it stirs something in you to feel so. The rhetoric is there, right? So like it ain't hiding, and so like it could be, think horses, not zebras. It is who is most likely, but also what better use of a super weapon if you can create it yourself to fight for your cause if you've got people to do it with.
I suppose that's true.
I don't think in this no radical side is right. I'm not saying you have to be in the center, but hate is hate. That's all that I wanna. Anyway, so this is really important.
Breckenridge begins approaching.
That we get back to Waypoint real soon.
I know.
Ms. Reynolds! Oh, Mr. Janus. How to do?
How's it?
I talked to the captain. He seemed amenable to send you across the way with Corporal Yeager. Now, Yeager will be under strict orders to assist you in what you need, but your entire purpose over there is to salvage the materials from the other half of the bridge and nothing else. I don't think I need to be any more clear than that. Do I, Miss Reynolds?
No, I don't really know what else I would be doing over there, since the thing that I wanted to go do was just taking apart the bridge because that's what I agreed to do, and like then I could get you the cubes that I said what I spent.
I ain't trying to be suspect or nothing like that. It's just you're in the middle of a military operation, right? And we're transporting cargo nearby you, right? So someone with less honorable motivations would perhaps see that as an opportunity to listen in on conversations or get your mitts on something that ain't yours. I mean, I know Mr. Gurley seemed particularly interested in the technology we was using out there. And
oh, well, that was that the threat is passed, so I don't
I
think
think from Dex's tent, from Dex's tent at that, you just hear, ah!
So
it's just standard security protocol is all I'm saying.
Right. The thing is that like again, I don't like I don't have the skills for it, but if I did have the skills for it, like it's been sitting around for days and weeks. I could have already taken it. So like I don't know. And then I'm going over there to get you cubes. I don't know what you're talking about.
When it comes to protocol, that kind of logic don't fly.
Sure. No, that makes sense. It's just illogical to think that I would do it. I've been nothing but extremely capable.
I agree wholeheartedly, but I'm not here to question protocol.
It felt like a veiled threat, and I didn't really care for
it. No. I apologize. I understand the uniform can make people uneasy at times, but honestly, I thought I would spare us this awkward conversation. Clearly, I just made it worse. And I didn't mean nothing by that. I just
say it straight, is the thing. Like a lot of people are like, oh, all this subtext, and I don't really get a lot of that. So like for me, it's just like if you just say a thing, it's much easier to deal with than if you're like alluding to things that are like, like supposed to be understood, but like I don't. A lot of that it's just like, oh no, and then this happens,
And then
I
it
have,
makes you
like,
nervous. No, I mean, and
Yeah.
I understand completely. Again, I apologize in the future. I shall be clearer with my language. I did not mean to obfuscate in a way that made you nervous. Simply, we just need to make sure part of the agreement and you heading to the other side was that you would only do this one task and you would have no ulterior motives. Because if you had ulterior motives, well, that would be a bad thing for the militia as a whole and would make you an enemy combatant, and that would be a bad thing for everyone. Now, I don't think that's what your motives are, but it is my duty as a sergeant of the militia to inform you of the circumstance of the arrangement. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Excellent.
you.
Okay. I am very sorry. I ain't one for words myself, but I do try. And Corporal Jaeger here, he says, gesturing, and Jaeger walks up and gives you a little nod, Porter. Corporal Jaeger here is going to accompany you. He has proven proficient in well, I mean, I guess using the contraption that you devised. So all credit to you there, miss. And he's a handy fella, so if you need an extra hand or two, let him know. But his primary function there is to make sure that you hold up your end of the deal. And Jaeger goes, I'll help wherever. He goes, yeah, and he's a fine fella, this Jaeger. I see big things in the future for him. But is there anything else you need from me? Otherwise, I gotta see to the rest of the breaking down of the camp.
I like look at Porter real quick and I go, no.
Is that a no or like a wait a second no?
I did think I could ask. Do you think that Corporal Jaeger will need an extra pair of hands? I just, I like to not split our group into 3 and 1. 2 and 2 seems more manageable, if that makes sense.
You can roll manipulate at a +2.
I'll take it. I just upped my personality, so this will be great.
You are up against an 8.
Wow. I don't believe it. I have 0 hits. I rolled a 3, a 3, a 4, and a 6.
Okay.
That was a great roll for an unopposed roll. I mean,
as manipulate tests so often are.
Wow.
what can I do? I mean,
You can make your own luck.
You could make
I
your own
suppose.
luck.
Get an extra roll.
Yeah. I'll try for it. That was
All right,
That
so you're
was
spending
my-
1 grit to make your own luck.
1 grit for making my own luck. Let's get these guys out of the way there. Oh, right. That's a 10. All right. So that's why.
Oh, wow, it worked out. Awesome. Hell yeah.
Good. Oh, goodness.
Oh, no, I raised your grit. You're at 2, right?
Now I'm at 1 because I just spent 1.
Did your thing. All right, sweet. So you get 1 net success then.
Yes.
Breckenridge looks a little uneasy. He goes, I did only clear Miss Reynolds for transport with the captain. I don't mean to be a pill, but and then Jaeger speaks up, putting kind of stepping forward, and putting like a hand on your shoulder, Porter. And he goes, sir, if there's any liability in this situation, I am happy to take it on myself. Me and Mr. Janus, we shared a word back then. I think he's of good sort, and I'm willing to take him on as an assistant. I mean, Captain said that they're our allies up here, right? So we don't need to go through this one, right? 1 ain't that much more than 2. And Breckenridge goes, All right, Jaeger. Yeah, if you're comfortable with the situation, Jaeger, I just don't want to put you in a weird spot where you got to watch 2 people instead of 1. If you feel good, I'm all good. We're all good here. As far as I'm concerned, 1 drifter across the way ain't much different than 2. That's a good way of putting it, Jaeger. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and see to the rest of the camp. You 3, I've talked to Florina. She will make sure that you are allowed across the way. All right, and thank you again for your assistance, Miss Reynolds, and everything.
Your credit to your station, Breckenridge.
Thank you, sir. He walks off with a smile on. And Jaeger goes, "Shall we?"
I think we shall.
He walks up. Florina gives him a look. He goes, "Taking him across the way. Gonna salvage the other end of the camp. Captain's orders." Like kind of like eyes the situation for a second and goes, "All right." Steps out of the way, and 3 of you are on the gondola. Jaeger seems totally capable of. I mean, it's not a very difficult contraption, but he doesn't just like close the door. He closes and latches the door, and he like disengages the like locks before he turns on the engine. Like he does all the proper like steps that you would deem like the perfect way to operate this thing out. And then he puts the lever in and starts on like 1 and then moves up speed in the middle and then slows down at the end. And you make a nice easy stop on the other side of the roof. And he unlocks the gate, slides it open, and goes, "Right, well, I suppose gotta drag up a decent amount of this, huh?"
Well, I can actually, yes and no. I can actually get down there and get a whole bunch of it. I have tech that can help me get down there, so I think probably, um, I think it'll be okay. I don't think it's too much heavy lifting. It's just going to be a lot of walking for me.
All right. Well, if you need any assistance, I'm here at your disposal. He like gives you a weird look, port. And then he steps off to the side, kind of like stands at the ready. Not super threateningly, just like kind of like standing guard, watching you. And the left at the edge of the bridge, where he's like, about 8 maximum feet away from you.
Sure.
Well, I guess I better get to work.
Yep. Anything I can start you off with? I can get you set up.
Oh, yeah. Well, so I guess the best way is that instead of like harvesting it into like full cubes, I might just like release some of the materials and then like pulling that up and then repurposing it into cubes once it's up here. So like maybe if you'd be comfortable doing that part where you would like I'll release it and then like help you carry it up and then and like walk it up and then like you could put it in the cubes. Is that okay? Do you feel like you could do
I
that?
think I could handle that. Yeah.
It seems pretty easy now that I'm saying it out loud. I'm a little embarrassed that I asked if you were capable of it. I just
No, I mean, thank you for asking. Again, like I said, machines aren't my thing, so.
Okay. And I'll turn on my grav stability harness and just walk over the edge.
Grav stability harness or mag belt?
No, the mag belt, not
Okay.
the grav stability. Whee! No.
I was like, those are 2 very different things.
No. I just said the wrong thing.
Okay, yes, this bridge is in fact made of steel and wood, and your grav stability harness. Here's the thing, your mag belt. You got me doing it. Your mag belt. It's still not perfect because you're not walking on like a solid body of metal.
Yeah.
So it helps a lot, but it's not like as easy as normally. So you have a couple options for what you can. You can roll athletics, you can roll gymnastics, or you can roll observe.
Sure. The other thing I was gonna do was I was gonna set like a little carabiner like set up so if I did fall, I wasn't falling all the way down to the edge of the world.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
You can definitely like no test involved in you like staking in some rope that's gonna like be a safety line. Absolutely.
Okay. You know, it really sucks to be so hurt. But it is okay. I did get 3 hits on observe.
Okay, cool. So it takes you some time, but you are methodical in your movement, right? And it gets easier once you kind of have a good sense of like the pathing you have to take. And because you got 3 successes, there's no modifier for you salvage roll, because you basically it takes you like you have a slow start as you kind of like slowly make your way down and find the spots. And there's like a couple moments where like Porter's like holding onto the rope. You're walking down like the rope's not like taut or anything because your center of gravity is at the like body of the bridge that you're walking down. And there's like a moment where like the rope does go taut because like you step somewhere and there's not like a solid body of metal there, and your grav stability harness has a trouble like figuring out where your mag belt has trouble figuring out where it's supposed to attach to. And so like you like plummet for like half a foot, and it's like your stomach turns and then it like lumps over to the side, and eventually you're able to kind of figure out the way to traverse this thing. So yeah, if you want to break down this bridge, you and Porter with your Porter's assisting, so the two of you can roll machinery. Porter is assisting Eloise.
That's a +1 for you.
Okay, cool. So that's 4 hits, and I am gonna twist the knife for a 5th.
Hey.
Okay. So that puts you down. You get 5 machinery keys in the first 3 hours.
Do I roll again?
And there's more to collect.
Is that a second assist roll?
Yeah,
as well?
yeah, you're helping out.
Oof. That's a +1.
That is 4.
Okay. You get 4 more machinery. I think you might be able to get 1 more machinery cube if you really want. But for the most part, you've fully salvaged this thing within 6 hours.
Oh. Oh no.
Unless you want to twist the knife to get that 5th.
But they gave me 22 cubes and I can't only bring them back 10? No.
Well,
I mean, you use their cubes to make a thing that they're using,
well,
right?
also, like, the thing you built, like, will be able to be salvaged.
Oh, they're taking it down?
Oh, the gondola?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you don't know one way or the other, but, like, that thing is worth, like, 11-ish cubes.
Okay. Well, I guess that's it. I guess I won't. They're going to take down my beautiful piece of work. I'm not giving them any more. Stupid butts.
Okay, so you get 9 machinery cubes.
Yeah.
And you patch all that up, get it all bundled up. Jaeger helps you load it into the gondola. You start making your way back, and on the way back, it's like slow moving. It's not extremely fast. So gets it like humming. Sits there for a second, and he says, "This may be a question, and if it's too much to ask, just tell me to go ahead and shove off. I soft skinned or nothing. So, but I was curious, Miss Reynolds, what does it feel like when you do what you can do?
No, that's an okay question to ask for sure. It feels like, have you ever done like meditating or no,
Name me.
uh, um, have you ever been in like a pool of water, like a big pool, like a, or like a bathtub even, and like
Yes, on both accounts.
yeah, and so, like, when your, like, face is above the water, but the rest of you is underneath and you can kinda, like, feel and hear all the things, like, sloshing about and, like, sounds are sorta, like, um, muffled and all
Yeah.
that. So, it's like and you if you close your eyes, you can kind of imagine what's going on around you, and just, like, you can just be there in that space, and it's just you. That's the space I reach into, and then I don't feel, like, particularly powerful or confident or, like, able to do things or anything like that. It's just like a nice little stillness that you can, like, find, and, um, and it feels like a part of me, it feels like skin. Sometimes you can feel your skin, and sometimes you don't, and and that's it. It's nothing
He
special.
he shuffles uncomfortably for a second. And then he goes, "So it ain't painful."
Um, I mean, sometimes if I like it's kinda like a muscle a little bit. If you, like, push real hard on, like, a sprint or, and your legs start, like, burning and your lungs start burning and all that stuff, like, it's kinda like that if I, like, push it too hard. I haven't done that very often, but, like, it doesn't hurt to do normal, no, if you
Uh,
do it in moderation.
Porter Yeager gives you another weird look. And then kind of quiets down for a second and kind of just looks
I
ahead.
can I try and decipher what he's trying to look at me for?
Yeah. You can roll. We'll go with manipulate. Since you have playing the player. You're up against a 6.
Of course I am.
How can you not be the 6, Seth?
I can. Only once I rolled a 4, a 5, a 5, and a 10.
Wow. That's a lot of
So I can't
successes,
even
but a lot of them
re-roll.
didn't matter.
I know.
So the one thing you can tell with one net success is that he wants to say more but is uncomfortable. You sat down and exchanged ammunition with this guy. He's not a very talkative person. This is an awkward situation for him to be in, and also he definitely thought that he was just going to get to talk to Eloise alone.
Oh, sure.
Why do you ask?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
She asked, "Why do you ask?" He goes, just curious. I ain't never met someone like you, I guess."
Oh, can I use, my talent takes one to know one?
Do you have a shine?
No.
Then you cannot.
Oh,
Well,
dang.
shit.
Yeah, you have to spend 1 shine to
I
be
had
able.
to drop a giant rock on somebody. So,
Does that endure roll restore shine at all or no?
I already did it.
She did
I
it already.
Did it today
Ah,
before we even went out.
dang.
Oh, well, I mean, if you have any questions or anything, I know that we're not going to be around for very long, but if ever anything comes up and you want to know more, I'm happy to answer.
No, it's just curious. I mean, you know, you hear stuff, so I guess you know, hearing from the horse's mouth, it gives you some perspective.
Well, I guess the first thing I'd say about that is that it's not a monolith, right? I think a lot of people are different. Like, there's so many different things you can do. First of all, and most of my things are very, um, like I can't like convince people to do anything or get real strong or anything like that.
So it could hurt then.
I don't think so. Not unless, I mean, I guess for me it feels real good. So I guess if you really like pain, it could.
He doesn't have a response for that.
But I think normally it just kind of feels like an extension of who you are. and for me it's the opposite of who I am because I'm all over the place, but like when it happens it's real still and real nice.
I think that's what I've heard from most of the people that I know. I mean, I don't know how many other illuminated people. I almost said packs. Illuminated people else met, but from most of the people that I know and have known, that's pretty much what I've heard.
Here we are at the other end of the. So I'll just go ahead and I'll just get that gate there, and he pulls the pin, slides the gate open, and goes, "You want to? I'll go ahead and grab this one." And and he
Private Jaeger?
he is a corporal.
Corporal?
Yeah.
Corporal, I meant what I said. If you have any other like weird questions or musings or anything,
I think
I'm available. That's all.
I think that Porter's probably the first to leave the gondola, and he kind of walks ahead, but like not so far as to like be too far away. Like if Eloise needs him, she can just like yell out. You know what I mean?
He sees you walk out. The last little bit of insight I'll give you, Porter, is like the moments passed.
Mm-hmm.
And so he goes, "Right, thank you, and thank you
No
for your
pressure.
candor."
Sorry. Yeah, no, of course. No.
I told your friend Mr. Janus, I don't talk too much, so it's about my quota for the day, so I'll just go ahead and I'll move these things and we good. And he collects some stuff and walks out.
So Corporal.
Yes, ma'am. Miss.
Oh, I don't know which one of those is right, but it's fine. Is that anyway, I know you don't talk much, I guess, because you just said so, but I think you're right pleasant. So I hope that you don't talk because you don't want to and not because you are nervous about not talking. So anyway, okay, bye.
And he walks off and starts laying down supplies, and then doesn't give you like a wide berth, but does, like, in any instance where he'd have to like walk by you closely, he goes around a different way to get to the supplies he has to unload.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The supplies you salvaged are unloaded, and you're able to return to your part of the camp. A couple hours pass. Everyone has rested who needed to rest, except for Eloise, who did not rest. So those of you, Dex and Gus, you gain the benefits of a rest. You regain Hit points equal to your durability attribute. You regain shine equal to your insight attribute. If you have injuries, they gain 1 more progression towards being healed. And then Eloise continues to look like crap.
Also, don't forget you get 2 additional hit points from convalescence.
This is true.
I, again, hate to play for the other team. Don't you have to be there for that to happen?
I was there for part of it.
He was there for the beginning and he was there for the end. I already established that Porter's kind of way of convalescing is making sure you drink some water and drink this thing and take this pill. Like he gives you like a routine to follow.
We have a team mom, is what you're saying.
Yeah. He makes sure that you're well fed, that you go to bed at the right time, and that you wake up at the right time. So if he's there on
the aspirin on your bedside table.
He needs to be there at the ends of it. The middle part, you're asleep. He doesn't need to help you for that.
Great. I love this. This is better.
When Gus does get done resting, he sort of sidles over to Porter. Hey, Porter, while you're over there, did you happen to get your hands on like 1 machinery cube?
I think El was really intent on paying the militia back, so I mean, let me look. I might have one that I could loan you if you need one.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that'd be nice. I just you see, I got a scrape in my armor, the one that El like just patched up and made look all good. I got a scrape right there again, and I don't want to have to go back to her for that again. That's so embarrassing. I didn't take care of it in the fight.
Don't be embarrassed. I mean, she likes working on things, and I don't think she thinks that you weren't taking care of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I try to keep things nice, you know.
Well, I have to be honest with you. I don't have a machinery cube to give you, so you might have to ask her anyway. I'm sorry, Gus.
Dang it. All right. I appreciate it, Porter.
Cheers.
Yeah. Did you have that warm milk?
Oh, right. Yeah. Just for you, I boiled up a batch,
Oh, thank you so much.
Warm.
So nice when I wake up.
That Hodag milk stinks something awful when you heat it up, but it's good for drinking when you wake up.
Yeah. Yeah. It smells like home to
me. I love it. All right. So unless anyone has anything to kick off in the first few hours amongst the party being together, you basically have a couple hours and then it's time to cross the ravine with the rest of the militia.
I'd like
I don't have anything
craft during that time.
Okay.
For sure.
Sure. What you got?
I need definitely some healing tonics. That's very important.
Okay. Are you just doing tier 1 or
what does adding a tier to a healing tonic do?
So healing is a it's heal 3 hit points, and that's a tier 1 property, but it's stackable. So you can add it again to make it a tier 2 tonic, and that heals 6 hit points.
Can you make a tier 3? Is it possible?
Yeah, you can stack it up to I guess you can stack it 3 times for a total of class 4.
Sure.
But that takes a lot of time. Making a tier 1 tonic takes you 30 minutes per roll. Making a tier 2 tonic takes you half a day per roll.
Right. I'll start on making a tier 2 tonic right now.
Okay. Go ahead and roll. It takes 2 first aid cubes.
Oh, right. No, I do have that. No, right.
So mark off 2 first aid cubes, and then you begin progress on a tier 2 tonic. You need 12 hours to do it. Right now, you only have a couple hours, so
right.
But you can work these couple of hours towards it, and then when you have some downtime, you can get the rest of it.
Okay. That's nice. That's fine. 20 on the reroll, but 4 successes.
Okay, that means you will make an excellent quality. You've succeeded. You will make an excellent quality tier 2 tonic. That's going to take you 12 hours. It's going to be excellent quality, so it will only have 1 side effect. Do you have the pharmacist?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you get to pick your side effect then, because you have that talent.
Good.
Instead of randomly generating a side effect. Do you have a side effect in mind, or do you need me to send you the list?
I don't want to do uncontrollable laughter again. What about? I think I'll do mute is one of them, right?
Yep.
I think that's what I'm going to go for.
Okay, cool. So you can add that as a side effect. You need about 8 to 10 more hours of work on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'll be complete. Excellent quality. Only has the 1 side effect. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we have to role play it, but I probably come to L to. It's literally 1 armor point down, so I don't know if he bothers. But if there's downtime, he might go talk to L about getting it patched.
Yeah.
So the thing is, Gus, is that can't fix it. I don't have any supplies. I'm not even wearing my armor. I'm completely tapped out. I've got
because these are armory cubes.
yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
And
All
I've
right.
got 1 first aid cube. But I don't have anything else. So
No worries. I shouldn't have got it. I shouldn't have got it chipped. I could have
No, I
dodged.
mean,
I could have been. It shouldn't have got me.
Gus, I'm glad you were wearing it and that it took the damage instead of you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I don't know. I could have just, I could have sidestepped. Just one
Yeah.
sidestep, and I'd save myself all the
You
dang
could have
trouble.
sidestepped, but also if you didn't and you sidestepped in the wrong direction, it could have been much worse.
That's true. Yeah. Well, you know what? I guess that's true. All right.
And I'll fix it as
Well,
soon as I
hey.
get some cubes. Don't worry about it.
Sounds good. Hey, also, good job salvaging that bridge. That's a lot of dang cubes over there.
Yep. It's not as many as I wanted, but it is as many as I could get. So thank you.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So you guys make your way back to each other. You get all your things together. It looks like the camp has basically been transported across. And Breckenridge does approach all 4 of you and go, "Well, we're heading out about 30 minutes to an hour. So get your things together. We got a rear position camp at the base of the mountains. We found your vehicles, by the way. Thanks for the gifted sub, Arget Lam. We found your vehicles, by the way. So we set up we have a squad down there, holding camp around your vehicles with all of our vehicles that we use to get to the mountains. So we're gonna head there, and then we'll all make it back to Waypoint together. Word's been sent ahead, so Sergeant Harris should have that camp about broken down. We can just make double time, get to the camp, get the vehicles, move to Waypoint. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Yep.
All right, pack it up. We're loading up the last of the supplies there, and then I will accompany you across the ravine when you are prepared.
Great.
Thanks,
All
Brett.
my stuff is packed, so I'm ready to go.
All right.
Appreciate the warning, Breck.
Yeah. About 30 minutes later, Breckenridge comes and escorts you to the gondola. Jaeger is there. He seems to be like the sole operator of this of this thing. Schaefer is nowhere to be found at this point. Seems like he may have gone ahead of you. And you, Jaeger, and the 4 of you and Jaeger and Breckenridge are the last to cross the ravine. On the other end, there's a few people waiting to start breaking down the gondola to salvage it for supplies. And then Jaeger and Breckenridge don't seem to be like interested in waiting for that. As you guys get off, he's like, all right, let's hoof it and get you back to your vehicle and back home.
We go.
Cool. So it's a bit of a trek, but eventually you make your way out of the mountains and you do see what looks like the remnants of a broken down camp around where your vehicles were stationed at the foot of the mountains. And you see a whole nother squad of 12 militia who are breaking down the last of the things. There's a few different vehicles here. There's a few like all-terrain, like kind of Jeep-like cars, as well as some larger, more armored vehicles for like that they seem to be loading the supplies into. And soldiers are getting ready, and you arrive, and Breckenridge goes, all right, well, your vehicles are over there. Go ahead and see to your stuff. Go ahead and load them up. I'll be checking in with you in about 10 minutes. My understanding is we're going to be heading out here pretty soon, so don't wander too far. I'll let you know. And the four of you have a moment together by your vehicles before Breckenridge returns.
Oh, dang. Was anyone else worried about the whole time we were on the gondola?
No.
Not
Perfectly
for-
safe.
Yeah, no, not for anything. The gondola works perfect and is safe.
Mhm.
For sure. Anyways, I'm glad we're all here. And look, hey, my car and the wagon. They're still
Oh,
here.
it'd be nice to travel by wheels again.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll be nice. We did a little more walk. I mean, a little more walking than I'm used to. Uh,
Keep a sharp eye out while you're driving. I think we'll be fine, but always good. Keep your eyes open.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's more of a drive than we can make in a day, right? We had to stop when we drove out here. That's I'm asking Tommy.
That is correct. Yes. You can easily drive through the night. And I will say, just based on like what you hear throughout the camp as you're walking through, it seems like that is the plan.
Ugh.
They plan not to set up camp. They're not like full on nomads or anything like that, but it does seem like their plan is to like rotate drivers and drive through the night. Kind of following the same premise that nomads do, which is when you have enough guns and enough people, you can drive through the night and it's not dangerous.
They're a maneuver enhancement brigade. I would hope they could drive through the night if necessary.
Exactly.
Should we stop or should we just keep going with them?
I'm not really interested in letting the bulk of them get to Waypoint before us.
All right.
I imagine, based on what Schaefer said, the mayor is going to want to talk to McGarrett as soon as they get back. And if we can be in that room and get that conversation out of the way all at once, that seems better.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good.
Cool. So you check, all your stuff is there. Your vehicles seem in good repair. It doesn't look like anyone's tampered with them or anything like that. And you load up your stuff, get in your vehicles, and you double time it overnight with the militia towards Waypoint. And about early morning, well, I guess along the way you wanted to keep a sharp eye out, so I'll take observe tests from everyone.
That's no hits for Eloise.
I've got a high of 12.
I got 2 high 8.
I've got 3 high of 7.
Okay. So all of you watch and like keep an eye out for any like weird ill dealings amidst the militia, any external threats that might come at you, and what you see is nothing. There's nothing going on. It's all fine. They're just
Hey,
hoofing
night
it.
dragons, Tommy.
They're just hoofing it. You are in the middle of the formation. No, everyone gives you like a decent berth. It's not like full it's not full nomad travel. That would take you way less than a day. They're moving at a normal pace, and they do stop frequently for like breaks to like eat, drink, relieve yourself, that kind of thing. And they move at a steady, like controllable pace, so that sometimes if one like needs to stop off for a second, like a couple vehicles can pull off to the side with them. They can get their things like sorted out and then continue on the way. I do want to mention that this is the first time that 2 of your vehicles are being used, so I would like both Porter and Gus to roll a fuel test for me.
Yay.
Can't wait to sputter our way into Waypoint on the last bit of gas.
Yeah, those vehicles that had to pull over, they were ending their sessions.
What idiots playing as militiamen in their campaign?
That sounds interesting.
How many dice do I roll for a fuel test?
One.
Just 1? Excellent. I'm rolling at I believe a 17. So if I miss this, I'm going to be very upset.
A 17?
My fuel
His-
is 15.
You have an excellent
That's
you have
premium.
premium fuel.
And I have a hybrid power, which adds plus 2.
That might be built into why it's 16, if that's what you're looking at.
So it might just be 15 that I'm rolling at.
We confirm. Automaton horse is normally 13. Your hybrid power
Cool.
makes it 15.
Well, in that case,
If you had premium fuel, you'd get even more.
well, you know what? Because of that, I rolled a 19. So
Cool. Porter, you have a cube, right? A fuel cube.
I do.
Okay, cool. So you can expend that cube, and then you still have fuel going into next session.
Excellent.
While we're stopped, I guess like we're probably stopped, and Porter is like looking at the fuel sitch and probably not loving it. Gus is like, hey, I got fuel. I got like a bunch of fuel if you need some.
Oh, just in the car?
Yeah, I mean, like in case it breaks down or like stops, you need extra. I came here with plenty of fuel.
That's very kind of you.
Yeah, and I could trade you because I also have first aid cubes. Wait, no, that doesn't.
Porter doesn't laugh at that. No.
I have fuel, and also I've got first aid cubes if you just want them. I feel like they're better in your hands than in mine.
Well, you know, I wouldn't feel right just taking your things. I mean, I know we're a group or whatever, but I mean, I've got some tonics if you'd like.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds good.
I thought I did have Tommy a fuel cube, but I might have expended it last time. So, what would be a good trade? I'll give him finesse tonics don't do nothing for him. I have a muscle tonic. I can give him my last muscle tonic. I can give him my excellent tier 1 healing tonic. And then
Muscle tonic gets sold.
no, take the healing tonic too. You can't just do the muscle.
I mean, I don't.
It's not. Look, I feel bad taking advantage of
I'll put
of
a
someone
hand
so
on
nice.
like just Porter's like like arm, like shoulder area, and just be like, "Poor, we're a community. It's okay."
Well, I owe you. Okay?
All right,
Take these tonics, but I owe you.
muscle tonic, and good dinner when we get back to Waypoint. And eventually, I'm gonna get hurt, and I'm probably gonna have that healing tonic anyway. So it's sort of even Stevens.
Fair enough. I'll take it. How many first aid cubes is that?
I got 2 of them.
Well,
2 of
that's
them and a
pretty
fuel.
cool. Yeah, take that muscle tonic for sure.
Cool. Is it gonna make me laugh again? That was strange.
Just be prepared for it, and it doesn't hit you as strong. I'm sorry I didn't tell you about it beforehand. I just thought it'd be really funny.
It was something. I thought it was funny, but
I didn't
people
think
looking
you-
around, people did not look like a joke.
I also didn't take into account the rib injuries, so I'm sure that wasn't helpful.
Yeah, it did hurt. I
You
mean, I'm
literally
alright.
split your sides, and I apologize for that.
Hey, that's a good joke. People laugh at that for the right reasons.
All right, cool. So you have a healing tonic that has uncontrollable laughter, or no, a muscle tonic that has uncontrollable laughter. And Porter, you get and use a fuel cube so that you have fuel next session. And you continue on, and in the early mornings, almost afternoon, you see on the horizon, cresting over the hills, the town of Waypoint. And you continue moving forward, and you're approaching from the south. So the first building you really see with some focus is the DeCastro stables. And standing there on the porch, you see Dalton and Zachariah. And standing in the middle of the road is a woman who, Eloise, you've definitely seen before. And Porter, you may have seen in passing once or twice. And Dex and Gus, you've never seen before in your life. It is a woman with a double-breasted long coat that cuts about halfway down her thighs, breaking away at the front and then continuing down at the back to reveal like denim dark pants and a large firearm on her hip. She looks about in her mid-50s. She's got dark tan skin, and her hair is pulled back into 2 braids down her back. And her clothing is clean, her boots immaculate. Everything is stately about this woman as she regards the entire company of militia pulling up at the south of the town. Mayor Alex Graves, with her sheer presence standing in the middle of the road, makes Captain Schaefer shout out, "Company, halt!" And that's where we're going to take a break. We are going to be back. I got 10:10 on my clock. So we'll be back in about 10 minutes. Be here around 10:20 in the evening for those of you who are Central Time. Thank you for watching. We're going to keep going in a minute. If you haven't already, refresh your drinks, hit follow, go to the bathroom, all that good stuff. We'll see you here back in just a moment. back. All right. Those of you who are just joining us midstream, these 4 drifters have left the mountains and have returned to Waypoint, accompanied by the Fort Dearborn militia, which the whole kind of caravan of militia soldiers has been stopped by the figure of one woman standing in the middle of the street, none other than Mayor Alex Graves. She stands there, her like kind of brownish red coat like billowing gently in the early afternoon wind, and Schaefer, Captain Schaefer at the head of the company, kind of pulls his horse up ahead and goes, "Mayor Graves?" And she goes, "Welcome back to Waypoint, Captain Schaefer. Scouts you sent ahead heralded your return, but I can rest easy now knowing with my own eyes that you and your soldiers are back safely from your expedition." And she kind of like looks past him to the like, to all the soldiers and goes, "The people of Waypoint owe you a debt. Thank you for your service and for your sacrifice." She turns back to Schaefer and gestures behind her to 2 men. Porter, you can identify one of them really easily as Dr. Charles O'Donovan. And probably Eloise and Porter know, at least by sight, Father Gideon Harrow of the Triptych Church. And she says, "Please allow Dr. O'Donovan to assist with your wounded and Father Harrow to prepare the bodies to rest in our grove. The settlement's resources are at your disposal, Captain." "Thank you, Ms. Graves. Dr. O'Donovan, Father Harrow, if you'd like to accompany us to our camp, your services would be invaluable." And he like looks like he's about to like kick his horse as he turns back to like give the command to move forward, and he's interrupted as Graves goes, "Now I imagine you'd want to speak to Colonel McGarrett yourself. However, he and I have agreed to meet with she looks past and spots your vehicles, the 4 drifters together alone in my office to hear their report firsthand." The colonel is waiting with Sheriff Fly in my office. He seems satisfied enough with the debrief from your, Sergeant Walters? But surely, I'm sure he'd like your report once we're done with our meeting. But, ma'am, Captain, you have wounded and fallen to tend to. See to your people first and allow the colonel and myself to see to mine. They sit there for a second. Schaefer seems to like kind of measure the situation. An entire company of soldiers behind him. And he goes, "Of course, ma'am. I thank you for your assistance. Just doing my part, Captain." And Schaefer turns back and goes, "Company forward!" Gideon Harrow Gideon Harrow and Charles O'Donovan make their way down the road, accompanying the kind of promenade of soldiers down the main thoroughfare of Waypoint. And Graves steps off to the side, makes eye contact, probably with Porter, who is the most visible, sitting at the front of the wagon, and gestures for you to come over towards her.
No.
And as she does that, like almost synchronized, as she makes that gesture to you, Dalton and Zachariah like step down from their porch and like flank her on either side.
Yeah, I go over there. I'm not messing with her.
I think Dex has been sitting in the car watching Schaefer interact with Graves. Just like slowly, like it starts as like a little chuckle, just and then as he gets like further and further dressed down, Tex is just this isn't supposed to be this satisfying. I'm not supposed to enjoy it this much.
And as your 2 vehicles pull up, Dalton, who usually doesn't handle like mechanical vehicles at all, steps up to take over the wagon, and other way around. Zachariah, who's not usually one to interact with mechanical things at all, steps up to take control of the wagon, and Dalton moves over to the car. And as you all kind of like exit the vehicles, Mayor Graves says, "Walk with me, don't talk," and turns and starts walking. And Dalton says, "Best do as she says."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she marches up the hill towards her office, or towards the mayoral offices, which I don't think anyone's been to as of yet, as far as I recall.
No.
Maybe you guys left a message. I don't quite remember.
I don't think we've been there. I think you better read the description.
Okay. Yeah. So the mayor's office is one part office and 2 parts like manor. There's a large lobby with a carpeted staircase that arcs up from the center to a balcony hallway. To your left, there's a hallway with a stone plaque that says judicial offices. And to the right of that, on your left side, is another hall with a large double door with a similar plaque that says town hall. And at the top of the stairs, you see a couple stanchions connected by like a velvet rope. And then to the side of the stairs, there's like another large, like kind of door with stained glass that says mayor's office. And there's a couple tables set there in this kind of entryway, with assistants and secretaries just kind of like stationed there. She blows in through the door, takes off her coat, revealing kind of a dark, like pearl snap, shirt tucked into like, her like denim pants, and she tosses her jacket to one of the assistants, who catches it and like hangs it on a hook, and then she marches straight into her office. Addie, is your camera off on purpose?
No, it just started doing a thing. I am currently fixing it.
Okay.
I think.
Just want to make sure that you were still there.
I am here, sort of.
And she marches swiftly past the staircase towards that door, opens it up, and walks in with the door wide open for the rest of you to follow her through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As you enter, it's a nice, large, kind of circular office with shuttered windows on 2 of the curves. A big, large, like wooden desk in the center. A globe of manifest open with a couple bottles of liquor in it. And inside that room, you see some comfortable furniture, some chairs across from her chair behind the desk that she is moving towards. And as you scan the room, you see only one occupant, and that one occupant is Sheriff Fly, who is leaning up against the wall nearby a large safe. And he goes, "Close the door."
Yeah, I'll close the door behind us.
Now I reckon it take. Oh no, we've lost Addie completely.
Oh no! I opened the door and let Eloise in.
Oh no! Oh. I see. It worked.
Yeah. Yes.
Any luck there, Addie?
No, I think I don't know what's going on. I'm so sorry.
Oh, Addie, close that program. Because Discord turned off the Discord wasn't drawing from the camera, so that program that sets your camera settings is probably using the camera. Yeah,
Okay.
Nailed it.
Found it.
Wild.
So yeah, you shut the door, Dex, and as she sits down swiftly in her chair, Grave says, "I reckon it takes 20 minutes at maximum before that Hardy figures out he's been taken for a turn with no music. That gives y'all exactly no time at all to bring me up to speed."
Right, let's get to it.
Have a seat. Start talking.
Well, as far as I can tell, and feel free to pop in at any point here to the rest of my team, we came upon whatever it was that attacked. What was their names?
The Ritters.
The Ritters that attacked the Ritters. It looked like it drained their horse and made off with it. I think it is a person, as far as we can tell. His name was Jack Taylor. The militia, they seemed dead set on finding him. There was something just unnatural going on with him, and he was in a lot of pain. But he was able to like create armor around him. He had the most insane illuminated powers that I've ever seen, far beyond that of a normal illuminated person, and it was just tearing him apart. We ended up killing him. Eloise struck that final blow, which I think ended up being a mercy, unfortunately. But and then it was a person's body. They took him, and I don't know. Am I missing anything else?
So the Ritters, they weren't attacked by a creature, but an illuminated individual did them blows.
An illuminated individual that I think, just from what I got from the militia about Brimstone, I think that's where he came from. I don't have any evidence to support that, but the way they're treating us, they want to make sure that they keep us with the militia and with Brimstone.
Well, that stands to
It didn't
reason.
act like a person.
No.
Well, tell me what it is.
So I think I'm so sorry. Hello, Miss Mayor. It's very nice to meet you in person. I'm Eloise Reynolds. The thing is that they were prepared. They knew what they were coming in for.
Mhm.
So either they knew about this person turns creature ahead of time, or they had other information that they were not sharing. They were very keen on keeping us sort of apart from what was going on, and then also they were very they had equipment and prototype equipment that they brought specifically to address the situation. They knew
That's
what was
right.
going on, and they were very keen on keeping us separate, or at least keeping us with them. I do believe that they would at a minimum like to keep this under wraps. And I think that whatever they are dealing with as an active issue, whether they caused it or not, is something that they are not keen on sharing. And also they do propagate this sort of anti-illuminated sentiment that the militia seem to have these days.
It ain't just the militia.
That's kind of
It's the territory as a whole.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the pertinent information. There's a lot of other details that like what Porter said. But basically there's well, and then I literally speak without breathing and tell her literally everything except for that Gus and I are illuminated.
Okay. She goes, right. Okay. Well, let's get
And I
to
think
it then.
we still have 3 minutes left. No, just kidding.
By my count, at least 5.
Sorry. One more. There's one more really important thing. Here, Sheriff, could you make sure the Ritters get this? And I hand Sheriff Fly the deed to their homestead.
Yeah. He takes a quick glance at it, seems to identify what it is immediately, and goes, absolutely. And puts it in his jacket. And she goes, so they want you to go to Brimstone. I mean, no doubt you've seen military technology that ain't yet been approved, so they're going to want to debrief you. That makes sense. Why do they want to bring you to Brimstone, though? What is it? I mean, besides what you've seen, I mean, that's just a ghost story to most people. Ain't no one ever going to believe that in the long run. It ain't me you need to convince. I've been suspecting Brimstone of a few things for a long time, and I didn't think that Mitchell was here just to get under my feathers. So, it seems like maybe y'all are onto something.
I think that they know that they can't guarantee us keeping any kind of secret without us being actually a part of Brimstone in the first place. They want to keep us in sight.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't know, whatever they're doing over there, and it's got, they're dealing with illumination and stuff, and maybe they want me there because I'm illuminated.
Now that does make some sense. Well then, my question to you, Mr. Gurley, would be, you don't want to go to Brimstone, right?
No, thank you.
All right. Well, I'm not here to have anyone dive into any fight that they don't want to. This ain't your fight. You done right by the Ritters, and that's all I can expect from any one person. But I had a feeling the militia was here cleaning up something. I didn't think it was a mess this big, but apparently it is. So I need to know what the four of you are willing to do next. Is this something you want to walk away from or something you want to be a part of? Because that determines how me and Mr. Fly here handle the colonel when he comes barging in my office door all red in the face.
What do you mean a part of?
Well, Brimstone's up to no good. It's harming the people of Fort Dearborn. I'm interested in figuring out exactly what it is, and then supporting anyone who's interested in acting accordingly.
I can't speak for the rest of my compatriots, but yes.
Well, I ain't surprised to hear a gunslinger say such a thing. But
I got a question.
go ahead and shoot.
How? Like, what should we do?
Well, if you ain't wanting to go into Waypoint, or if you ain't wanting to go into Brimstone under the supervision of the colonel, what I can do next is I can make sure you get at least some time of free reign. He can't take you from this town without my say-so unless he wants a whole bunch of trouble he ain't interested in. I can handle Mitchell. He's got a lot of bark, but unfortunately, the military has made sure that his bite is rather small. That ain't to say he ain't dangerous. He's got support where it counts, but not here.
All right, so we go in and we look around.
Well, I mean, if you go with him, that gets his eyes on the inside, but it puts you in a heap of danger. Otherwise, you take whatever route you see fit, and you touch base with me along the way, and I'll see if I'm of any help.
I mean, I bet I can handle myself. What I can't handle, Gus will shoot or Dex will shoot.
Talking about going in with the militia, then.
One of the two. What do y'all think? I mean, we got any other stuff we could do?
Dex, like, the corner of his mouth turns up into like a very slight smile, and he reaches into his armor and pulls out the like drawing of the symbol on the Mathis gang and puts it on the desk. This was tattooed on Jack Taylor's heel.
Sheriff Fly goes, well, ain't that something? I got more to speak on that, but we don't have the time at this moment.
I don't think it's a good idea if I walk into Brimstone with the militia, because they won't like what I do after I walk in.
The mayor looks to Jack, or looks to Fly, and Fly like gives her like a nod, and she goes, all right then, I'll make sure the militia leaves you to your own devices. And the four of you find a different way to look into this. Or you go on your merry way. I ain't here to recruit you into no cause you don't want to be a part of. As far as I'm concerned, you're four innocent folk. Just did the right thing by the Ritters. You can be more than that, or you can be just that. It don't make no difference to me. That's something you square with yourself. And then there's a poof in the other room, and like a loud like poof, 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 poof. And she goes, but it sounds like we're out of time. as my timer as my timer reaches the end here. And
Excellent multimedia work, Tommy.
And the door flies open, and a man who, Porter, you've seen before in the clinic, bursts in. He's wearing a colonel's uniform, slightly, like, not completely, like, buttoned up. He rushes in, large man, thick shoulders, very tall, tight cropped hair with silver and black. And he bursts in and goes, "Graves, what the hell makes you think you have the right to speak to these civilians about military matters before they've been properly debriefed?" And Fly steps forward, and his hand just ever slightly lingers by his gun as he goes, "What makes you think you had the right to burst into our fine mayor's office, the very picture of impropriety?" And there's a moment where they, like, stare at each other, like, McGarrett fire and Fly ice. and then Graves puts up a hand and goes, "Gentlemen, settle. Mitchell, I told Captain Schaefer to send word to you with expediency of your invitation to speak with these civilians under my supervision. We've said not but a word beyond pleasantries as we've been waiting patiently for your arrival. You expect me to believe a word of that, Graves?" We both know it don't matter in the slightest what you believe. So let's get past the point where you tend to your wounded ego, and let's get to the point. Under territory law, I have a right as mayor to serve as counsel to my townfolk. Drifters aren't townsfolk, Graves, and therefore are not extended such protections under Fort Dearborn law. Miss Eloise Reynolds and Mr. Porter Janus have been permanent residents of Waypoint for more than enough time for me to have a vested interest in their safety. You may, if you must, speak with Mr. Bailey and Mr. Gurley alone, but as they seem to have thrown in with these two citizens of Waypoint, I assumed they'd be more cooperative as a group," she says, like, almost questioningly towards Dex and Gus. Gus just, like, nods. Honestly, Mitchell, the posturing is tiresome. The more literal the lands you view the laws of Fort Dearborn, the less and less power you truly have. This meeting, right now, in this room, is what you are allotted. Unless, of course, you'd like to LRC someone with the authority to circumvent me, such as a quorum of alders, or perhaps a higher-ranking member of the militia. McGarrett bristles at that a little bit, and then seems to take the stock of the situation, and then sits in an empty chair nearby the edge of the desk, and goes, "You still drink tequila?" And she goes, "There we go. With tooth and claw unbared, we may proceed. Miss Reynolds, Mr. Janus, Mr. Bailey, Mr. Gurley, if you could please inform myself and Colonel McGarrett of what you understand to have transpired in the mountains, I'd much appreciate it. Oh, and if at any point, Mitchell, you feel that classified military information is at risk of being exposed to those of us in the lowly station of public service, let it be known that Sheriff Fly and I are willing to accept all legal liability for the protection of such secrets." And at that moment, Fly steps forward, producing a different set of papers from his jacket, and says, "You'll find all this paperwork in order and notarized by Freddie Knabb of the Bank of Waypoint and Bobby Rockwell of the Fort Dearborn Communication Corps. We've taken the liberty of sending copies via the LRC to both the Alder Conclave and the Admiralty Board." McGarrett sits there for a second, takes the papers, and says, "The bureaucrats send their thanks," and, like, tucks the paper away. And as Graves gently hands him a glass of tequila, he sits back to listen to your story.
We, after hearing from the Ritters riding into town, they said they had something important out in their camp when they were attacked. We went out that way. found the deed to their homestead and started tracking the creature that attacked them. Later that evening, your soldiers caught up to us. We moved as a single unit to track the creature, encountered something I've never seen before. It killed a lot of your soldiers, and ultimately it was slain. I believe your soldiers are taking the body back to your camp now, and then we drove back here.
My understanding is the four of you were privy to and potentially saw the use of some classified technology that the Fort Dearborn militia has been working on to deal with such threats. Is this correct?
That's not a question.
Is this correct?
Possibly. My understanding of technology is too limited to know whether I did or did not see anything classified.
Well, sir, you've done a lot of talking. Let's bring it to the rest of the group. What is it you saw out there, you three?
There's a stick and I broke it. No, I didn't break it. The thing broke it. I tried to use the stick and it got broke. And that's it. It seemed like it, I don't know. It got broke. It broke it so quick. Dang it. I'm sorry. I broke your stick. That one's on me.
Well, as you handled military technology, it is protocol for us to debrief you thoroughly of such things. You need to understand that what you saw and what you may or may not think happened there in the mountains is of classified nature. You go around spinning a tale to anyone who's willing to bend an elbow with you at a saloon, well, you're gonna run into some trouble with the militia because you are not authorized to share those secrets with just anyone. Do the four of you feel entirely capable of such a responsibility? Because if anyone in the militia catches wind that Dexter Bailey, Eloise Reynolds, Porter Janus, or Gus Gurley have told any stories, then you're in a heap of trouble.
I don't think that's something you'll have to worry about, Colonel.
It's
Yeah,
easy
I'm
to
sorry. I won't tell anybody about the stick or how easily it broke.
It's easy to say. It's easy to say here in the comfort of the mayor's office. But in my experience, these kinds of things, they can work at a person. I also understand that you made yourself invaluable there in the mountains. Captain Schaefer spoke highly of your capabilities, specifically yours, Ms. Reynolds. Your technical acumen and illuminated power shows that you could be of a great service to dealing with the kinds of threats that you encountered there in the mountains. So, I understand he extended the four of you an invitation. Allow me to do the same. Brimstone could use you.
I can't speak for my compatriots, but no thank you.
He spoke for me.
He spoke for me.
Give her a chance. Give her a chance.
I can't do it.
Oh, come on, Addie. You can do it.
Eloise
You can
cracks
do it.
up.
Eloise just starts laughing with nervous, some nerves. Yeah, the speak. Yeah, no, this.
He sits there for a second, again, looking around the room. He looks at Fly. He looks at Mayor Graves. He looks to the four of you. He drinks his tequila, like sets it down. And as he opens his mouth to talk, Graves goes, "Looks like you're doing an awful lot of math there, Mitchell. Everything all right? I mean, I think they spoke their piece. They answered your question." He goes, "Well, Graves, I could always just conscript them. I mean, they're, when you comes down to it, they could prove necessary to the survival of the territory." And Graves lets out like a little bit of a sigh and goes, "Well, it is your right as an officer of the Fort Dearborn Militia to conscript any civilian residing in this territory in the face of a quantifiable threat. And far be it from me to deny you that right." She takes his glass and goes like walking over to refill it and goes, "But you know as well as me that those kind of theatrics draw attention, Mitchell. And you get what you want. No questions asked for a spell, but inevitably, eventually, you need to quantify the threat in detail to the judiciary. Now, I'm willing to bet Fly's favorite bullet that Brimstone doesn't want to draw that kind of attention. Otherwise, your lapdog," she sets the glass down in front of him, "Schaefer, would have exercised that right all the way back in the mountains before I had a chance to get my claws in these four. Ain't that right?" McGarrett sits there for a second, takes like a deep breath, goes, "Allow me to reiterate. If you leave now information you have, and you share that information with anyone, you and anyone involved in such a conspiracy would be at risk of retribution from the militia." He looks at the tequila, sets it back down, slides it across the table slightly, and goes, "That is a risk you're willing to take. Without my assistance, then we have nothing further to discuss."
Okay.
I think we can handle it.
"I require verbal confirmation from all parties involved," he says to Eloise and Gus.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Sir, I wrote a report, so that should help you. And I don't fight, and there's a lot of, and I'm okay, but I really appreciate the honor. It was a real offer. I mean, it was a real honor to get your offer. But like, I just don't, I don't think it's the right place for me is the thing. So I thank you, sir.
Me and Mr. Fly have taken the liberty of drafting up a couple affidavits from these four, agreeing to the laws of the land in their willingness. It ain't just verbal confirmation you need, Mitchell. You need written reports traceable by the Alder Conclave and the Admiralty Board. Now, you go ahead, you four, you go ahead and sign these affidavits. Eloise, Ms. Reynolds, this will be added, I'm sure, she says to Colonel McGarrett, to your previous, more detailed affidavit. This is simply a formality saying you agree to bear these secrets without spreading them around to no one that's qualified to hear them. So just go ahead. You can sign there with your name as seen on your LRC tag, all four of you. And
Dex picks it up and reads it.
It's like a one-page, like effectively like in a lot more words what she already said in short term about her and Fly, that they agree to the legal liability of these secrets. They relieve themselves of all rights if they perjure themselves in any way, and if they basically like are false in any way in this agreement, if they've done anything to basically like put Fort Dearborn at risk, those kinds of things, by way of either falsifying this agreement and lying about the fact that they're not going to tell anybody, or like anything along from that point all the way through to telling these secrets to like enemy states and stuff like that. It's like a really long list of like potential things that you could do to perjure yourself or lie in some way in this agreement. And she slides the papers over and clicks the pen and sets it down.
Gus just signs it.
Yeah, Porter reads it through, definitely signs it.
I have to think about it. Is it because like I don't think I plan to care about this. And so is it against what I have been taught to sign it? I don't know. That's why I'm on the right of reflection, I think, as I sign it.
Eloise picks up the pen and like almost signs it a whole bunch of times. And then she puts the pen down.
Porter, without a roll, you do see Mayor Graves's confidence falter for a moment. Just the briefest of moments, you without a roll, given your social acumen, and Dex with your good discipline, both of you are without a roll able to see that Graves was not ready for whatever this is.
I can't sign that.
Sure you can there, young miss. I mean, I know it's nerve-wracking, but all this is a way to assure the militia that you
I don't have
are
an
acting.
RC tag.
Come again?
I don't have an LRC tag.
Oh, okay. So you was born in a camp then and just never got registered? That's fine. We can go ahead and take care of that.
Okay.
All right. Well, I mean, it will require a trip to Fort Dearborn to get your identity verified, and from there, we can get you formalized as a citizen. Now, it gets a little hectic there. You may need to serve some time in the militia to earn your citizenship within the city. But if you, I mean, you're a resident of Waypoint, so it ain't necessarily strictly necessary. But depends on everything you're looking for. This is details we can figure out. You go ahead and sign the name you've been using, and we can sort out the rest from there. And Eloise, I need you to roll blend for me.
Okay. I'm still so hurt. No.
No, you rested in the car. Like, for sure. We would have had you take a rest in the journey.
You're up against a 9.
Did I get a rest?
Oh
on
yeah,
the journey?
I mean you got a rest along the way if you didn't drive at all.
That ain't very good. I have I have an 8. So I guess I will spend grit for luck.
Making your own luck?
Yes. I have a 9.
Okay. So you get one next success as you are the aggressor in this particular instance.
Oh, that's nice.
And there's kind of like a moment of silence, and then trying to like move it along, Graves is like, oh, just go ahead and sign. We can go ahead and sort out your Fort Dearborn citizenship after the fact. And then Mitchell McGarrett goes, there is, of course, a lot of legal loopholes you have to jump through for something like this. If you were to do a short time as a conscripted soldier, I could fast track your citizenship. Honestly, it's a miracle you made it this long in the territory without any true identity. Could be there's going to be a lot of people who want to know what you've been up to there while you've been off the grid. I can make that go out of the way. Last chance for you to conscript for just a few months and join us in Brimstone.
I'm not a soldier.
Being part of the militia don't always mean guns and bayonets.
It don't necessarily don't mean that, sir. I'm not a soldier. If you want help, I can help you, but I can't be a soldier.
Don't let him intimidate you, Miss Reynolds. You go ahead and sign that paper and we'll be on our way. Ain't that right, Mitchell? She already said no. How many times do you need to hear it? You sign that paper, Miss Reynolds. You can put an X for all I care. That'll suffice, won't it, Mitchell? I suppose it will, Mayor Graves.
I do put an X.
He snatches the papers up. He eyes you for a little bit longer, Eloise. And then Graves goes, Mitchell, you know the way out. Thank you for your time. I'll see it to it that my camp is broken down and leaves the city limits within 18 hours. Seems about right, seeing as you overstayed your welcome by a day and a half. It's like you said, and his eyes land on Eloise again. Quantifiable threat. And he walks out. Whew, that man does love making things dramatic. Are you all right there, Ms. Reynolds? I had no idea. I'm sorry I put you in that situation.
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you for your concern.
It's very important that you're forthright with me. I can help you in this situation. Are you running from the law, perhaps?
No.
So you really don't. You don't have an LRC issue from any territory.
Ann Harbor.
All right.
But I was just a little kid and I didn't, I never used it.
But you ain't at run from the law in Iron Harbor then, right?
No.
All right. Then, Miss Reynolds, you have an LRC.
But I look at my friends, maybe not my friends, and I go, but it ain't my name is the thing, is that it's not the name I use. So I like start like nervously tapping, and like all of my nervous tics start to come out with like
Gus grabs that like undrank cup of tequila and says, hey, L, you want this?
No, I don't like to have an altered mind, but thank you very much. You can have it if you like. I wouldn't judge.
I do want it. And Gus That guy made me so nervous.
And she sits back for a second, looks at Eloise having a breakdown, Gus like chugging down tequila, and she goes, strange group of drifters you are.
Don't we know it?
Miss Reynolds, if you ain't on the run from the law in a situation like that, it is well within your right to sign as your legally recognized name, and you have the same protections as everyone else. I don't think it will go too far. You signed an X, and if push comes to shove, well, they're just gonna have to accept that. That could just be your mark for all they know. You said you was a child when you left anyways, right? Maybe you don't know how to write.
Well, I mean, people have seen me write, and I did that affidavit.
My point is we can spin the tale however we need to, young miss.
Mhm. Thank you. I'm sorry.
I ain't never had to be sorry for trying to turn over a new leaf in Waypoint. Whatever life you left behind, that's your business. Right? I'm just trying to help you out here now. Well, I suggest the four of you keep a low profile for a little while. And then once the militia's out of town, you go about this however way you think is correct, and as long as I don't disagree with your methods, counting on the gunslinger training there, then, well, you can always reach out to Waypoint for assistance. Whatever I can provide. Within reason, of course. Ain't just the four of you I gotta look after.
Thank you.
Sheriff Fly, you had something to talk to the gunslinger about, ain't that right? That's right. All right, well, you can do that in your office then. Bailey?
Nice to meet you, Mayor Graves.
I'm sure it was.
She's excellent.
Can I roll insight on the mayor?
Not insight.
Or not insight. Just can I suss out what she's doing with
Yes.
my very bad discipline?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. I really need playing the player.
She's a politician. There's no way she's good at lying.
No, I mean I know. I'm not gonna get anything.
I actually would like to also get a read on her. It's the first time I've ever met her.
Eloise would try in this moment.
Absolutely.
I have a 6. 1 6.
I have a 14.
Okay. I have a 13.
I have 2 14s.
Ooh. Dex, what is it you're trying to get a read on?
I just kind of want a general read on her as a person, and if her offer of aid is genuine or if it's like some other maneuvering. Basically, I want to know if we can trust this person. Yeah, if we can trust this person. I realize it's a large question. There's a lot of factors to it, but like mostly just right now in this room.
You think the read you get on her is that she has a lot going on. And this kind of situation that she's in, like this is not a this is one of many meetings like this she's about to have over the course of maybe the day, maybe the week. She has, well, I mean, Waypoint by reputation is kind of a haven for drifters. And judging by this interaction, the feeling you get is that sometimes when drifters are dealing with something large enough and need just a little bit of assistance from anyone who can like pull a string, and Mayor Graves gets wind of that, she lets them know that she might be of service. You don't know how far her assistance goes, and you definitely don't get the impression that she will go like there's definitely a sense of like risk versus reward with her, where like she believes in what you're doing, but if you push something too hard or you make it too costly for her to help you, she's going to have to let you go. So she is not necessarily a full-on benefactor, definitely not an employer, and definitely not, like even really fully an ally, but definitely like, a tool that you could use if you find the right opportunity for it.
And just like, she doesn't intend to immediately screw us over.
No, she seems she seems to believe in what you're doing. That part was genuine and true. Like pretty much everything she said was genuine and true from what you can tell.
Great.
At least in like the most literal sense of everything she said. And I don't think she said anything that was like very super vague.
Then yeah, I will follow Fly back to his office, I suppose.
What about the rest of you? You following Dex and Fly or going elsewhere?
I'm gonna return to my or at least head there.
Okay, the word room didn't come through, so I was like, "You're what? You're what?"
The place where I sleep.
Yeah, absolutely. You can. The bed and brew is not very far. You can go down the hill. You can even go through the back, like kind of courtyard, which even draws less attention. You walk by like the memorial fountain and make your way up to your room. No problem. Porter and Gus.
Did you say that symbol was also on the stock of the Walden Gang gun or crossbow, or does Gus know that?
Yeah, you know that it was on Nicolas Dubois' crossbow. It's not the
Okay,
Walden Gang. That's it. They've never existed, as far as we know.
Yeah, then I think Gus would like to follow along if Dex will have him.
Yeah.
I guess Porter follows along too. I don't think I have anything else I want to do.
Okay. So the three of you walk into the sheriff's office. Eloise, are you getting up to anything in particular, or are you just kind of hiding out in your room?
Absolutely hiding out.
Okay, cool. You get in your room. You're able to have a little bit of a panic attack.
I lock all the locks.
You lock all the locks and you start fiddling with something. You do, as you're starting to look at schematics and try to figure out something you can work on, you do see that little kit unpackaged and already used from Porter, with that little figurine that you built and souped up with extra features.
Yeah. I definitely like maybe turn that in from a jackalope into like an arche so it doesn't bounce anymore, but like maybe like runs real fast into walls.
Absolutely. You set it down and you start working on like some prototypes, and just every once in a while there's a little like as it runs around and just bumps into things.
God, in a different life, I would tape a grenade to it.
And Porter, Dex, and Gus, you step into the sheriff's office, and you shut the door behind you. This sheriff lets out a sigh and goes, "Might bit nervous that Miss Reynolds. Sure she's cut out for this line of work?"
Is anyone sure?
Suppose not. I searched far and wide for anyone who had seen that sign before. But it ain't well known. That's for damn sure. But I did find one person who would come across it once more. Might be interested in meeting you. If you're willing.
I sense there's a reason I might not be willing.
Well, his name is Azariah Caldwell, and he's a Legionnaire of Astoria. Dex.
That is another gunslinger guild, yes?
Yes, you are aware that the Legionnaires are the largest gunslinger guild.
Can I just get like a real brief, what is the general sentiment on Legionnaires at the Silent Peak?
The Silent Peak thinks of the Legionnaires as brash and vengeful, overly vengeful. They think the Legionnaires have the right idea, but they are far too quick to put someone in the ground. The Legionnaires don't really believe in like second chances the way that your guild does. Once someone has proven to be evil, the Legionnaires think it is a larger risk to let them live.
I am terrified to meet the guild that is quicker to shoot than Dex.
Dex's guild is the most extremely measured gunslinger guild of all the gunslinger guilds. It is the one that it is the one that thinks the hardest before killing someone. Whereas the Legionnaires, like, they're not like, you know, that at the very least, like, while there's a lot of people who are like, oh well, they're like within your guild, there's a lot of people who are like, well, they have it wrong. They're not like haphazard in their killing.
Yeah. It's the sort of like gunslinger guilds fall on a pretty wide spectrum, but there's an infinite number of numbers between 0 and 1, and none of them are 2.
Yeah. And they like, you know, that like it's not very often that a Legionnaire, like anything that has to do with the Legionnaires, is considered wrong. But they don't operate in the same way you do, because the one fault that your guild believes that the Legionnaires have is they are absolutely 100% confident in what they believe is right. And they know that they know best. And therefore they act like kind of within that mythos. And if you don't fall within like that, like they don't just like kill anyone who doesn't fall within that, but like they don't compromise.
They don't have any, there's no reflection in their methods. They learn the thing and then they do the thing, and they never think about how or why they do the thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
that is definitely your guild's perception of the Legionnaires.
Okay. I don't see a reason we can't talk.
All right. Well, apparently he came across this symbol not too long ago and caught his eye one way or another. He didn't want to tell me any details. But when I told him that there was a novitiate on the same trail as him, he seemed quite interested. At least interested enough to talk. So, I'll send him an LRC. He's waiting to hear from me. And I'll figure out where he wants to meet you, and y'all can head that way.
Okay. Thank you for your help.
Sure. You ever dealt with Legionnaire, boy?
I've only heard stories.
Well, chances are they're true. Most people in Manifest, when they think of a gunslinger, they're thinking of a Legionnaire. Now, Caldwell ain't wrong in the head or nothing. He ain't killing people without cause. he wouldn't be on my list of contacts if he was. But I understand that those of you up in the peak, you like to contemplate a bit more before pulling the trigger. So, well, he sits down and goes, he's got his buckles in his gun. So, might be in your best interest to step to his tune for a spell. Maybe you'll learn a thing or two.
In my experience, there's nobody you can't learn something from.
Sounds about right. Well, good luck to the four of you. I'm sure the mayor will let me know if you need rescuing.
Thanks. You have a favorite bullet?
Oh my god, I was wondering about that too. I mean, wouldn't you shoot it or would you not shoot it?
Right.
Y'all can see yourself out now.
I want to roll I want to roll discipline to see if he's got a favorite bullet and he's holding out on us.
Sure.
It's important.
How many bamboozles important is it?
I have a lot of grit. I bamboozle him twice.
Hey, this is down to 8. You're up against an 11, Gus.
Yeah, I got no hits. Rolled a 17 and an 18. My target's a 6. I'm not going to fight it.
Look, if you were true with yourself, Gus, you would have no idea whether he does or doesn't have a favorite bullet or if there's a story behind that or anything. But wouldn't it be really exciting if he did? What could that even be?
I like to think there's a favorite bullet that the mayor knows about and that he knows about. It's sort of a secret club sort of thing. They seem very comfortable with each other. I bet he's got a cool story about a cool bullet. Maybe it's his favorite shot. Is it the bullet that made it? Oh, I want to find out about that dang bullet.
Those are the thoughts that rattle around in your head incessantly as you make your way back to the Free State Bed and Brew. And that's where we're going to end our session as everyone returns to the Free State Bed and Brew for the first night of rest in a truly safe haven in a while for this group of drifters.
God, I can't believe we made it through that gondola. Oh, I was 100% they were gonna cut the wire. Oh my god.
Yeah, when you put us in there with Breckenridge, I was like, oh no, this is it. He's a week out from retirement.
Mm-hmm. I'm so worried about Breckenridge. We should invite him to come with.
He's back at the camp with the rest of the militia, heading back to Brimstone. Nothing bad could possibly happen to him in that time.
Fuck you, Tommy. How dare you? How dare you take his haberdashery? I know it's a tailor shop. How dare you take it from him? They do both. You know how hard it is to find one that does both?
All right, so we have some questions through the Discord and also at least one question in the chat so far. Though any of you who are watching, we're doing a little Q&A here. So if you have any questions about the session, about the characters, about the campaign, about the RPG in general, or the players, let us know. Throw it in the chat and we will answer you. But we will start with the questions that were submitted in the Kickstarter exclusive Discord. Argitlam has given us some more characters to build. He's got some of the crew of the Firefly from hit one season show Firefly. We got Captain Malcolm Reynolds, Zoe Washburn, Summer, and Simon Tam from Firefly. The other characters he says he's going to hold off and ask us to do later.
I have confident path and histories on 3 of them. Zoe is the only one that I'm not sure on.
Okay.
Mal is 100% a militant outlaw.
Yes.
Like, absolutely a militant outlaw for sure.
Didn't they serve together?
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah, but so like I don't know if that was the most formative historical experience for Zoe, right? So I'm not
like it.
It feels like
It's
maybe,
she
but I'm not as
composes
confident on that
herself.
one. I'm not as confident on that one, but it could be. It was on my list. Summer is an outcast brawler through and through, for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah, because like her formative thing is not she used to be rich. It's she's extremely psychic and shunned and chased for it.
It's brawler that gets me, but I see it.
I mean,
But she also has to have the know-how
She takes
tree,
the
though.
shit out of everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she definitely
Oh.
has to have the know-how tree. No matter.
Yeah, she has the talent that like every like a certain amount of times a day she can just roll lore instead.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
definitely
she's got,
has that
she's got like
talent.
enlightenment and brawn and know-how.
Mm.
And then I mean Simon Tam's easy. He's a privileged doctor.
Yeah,
That's
Privileged
easy.
Doctor, classic.
All
We
the
actually
way.
made one of the pre-mades lose one of the possible backstories for the pre-made was definitely very augmented, but I started with like, oh, Privileged Doctor, because you want a Simon Tam in the group.
Yeah, if it was Shadowrun, you would give him like every negative quality, and then you would be done.
Extremely low personality on that one.
Oh my gosh, he has a 2, and then he has an injury that's permanent that makes it a 1. That dude sucks. I imagine interpersonally. I wouldn't know personally, like I've only seen the show. But yeah.
Sorry, this is just a side note, but y'all remember that show Chuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
I
Chuck
remember
the poster?
Obviously.
Right. Is Chuck the poster child for the theoretically skilled talent?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because every so often it would beam into his brain, and he's like, "Oh, I can do all the sorts of karate."
Yeah, but he's like early seasons Chuck before he like had control over it in like season 4 or 5 when he was like actual super spy, and it was sad.
I might have stopped watching before then.
Yeah,
which
most
sounds like a
people
pretty good
gave up
choice.
at season 3 where there was a natural finale. Don't worry about it. Let's continue.
You have to watch the whole thing, even the season at the end where they brutally killed the wonderful love story they had going for the whole show before it for no reason. I have strong feelings about Chuck.
Good.
Yeah,
That's
so-
why we're friends.
So Summer has the theoretically skilled for sure. That way, or wait, it's not Summer. Why have we been saying Summer this whole time? It's River.
Oh yeah,
Because her name is
Summer
Summer
too.
Glau.
Is her
It's
name?
Oh,
is
Summer
Summer?
Glau.
Her name is Summer
Yeah,
Glau.
Okay. The actress's name is
It
Summer
fucks me
Glau.
up too.
Ah,
And
okay, yeah.
Oh,
the
wait, hold on.
character
Are we building Summer Glau? Because her thing is probably different.
Right, probably Moxie. Definitely has rehearsal.
All the world's a stage.
Yeah. River Tam definitely has the theoretically skilled talent that lets her roll lore on everything. That way she can be good at everything a couple times a day. For Zoe, you were a little uncertain. She definitely, I know for sure, has the subtlety tree. Because her big like contrast with Mal in the war was that like Mal was all like brazen and loud and shot a bunch of guns, and then she was all sneaky and cutthroat. I do think she probably has militant, given like kind of like to Roman's point, like she does seem very much set in that soldiery way. Though instead of outlaw, I think she might be scavenger.
Oh yeah.
But I'm not 100% sure because Scavenger has a little bit of like thievy stuff to it, which is like kind of her Another
I could honestly see Gunslinger for her.
Oh yeah.
Because she seems
I
like
think-
the most
Yeah.
moral compass of the whole ship, right?
Yeah. for
I
sure.
actually think that I was gonna say I think she's more of a deputy.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
To a point, if you avoid the
Well,
stuff
she
that's
has
like
more restraint, right? Like she's working within the laws of the like Serenity's laws, right? Like
Sure.
whatever Mal says goes, that's the law, like that kind of thing.
sure if you
Yeehaw.
orient the because it's actually a decent point because within the setting of Firefly, the laws of the ship Firefly are the local laws. So like
Sure.
all those things.
She hits that a local law is followed trigger every time.
Every time she like backs Mal's play on like ship discipline.
Local law enforcement is involved with the plan.
And then go for it.
You go.
Nothing. I was just gonna say that's like, but I think as far as like actual build goes, she's not that far off from Pax, because she has like Pax and her are like not that different as far as skills go, and also maybe I might have like base Pax.
Oh.
Okay. I was gonna say something very different in that I don't know if either of the characters individually fit, but I think her and Wash's relationship reminds me a lot of Juliet and Cyrus.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Juliet
I
and
think
Cyrus of Essential NPCs fame, Series 9. Check it out.
Yeah, the thing isn't that Wash was real competent.
Oh.
Dang shots.
Like I
fired.
said, individually different. Together, same.
All right. Another question from Argitlam. This one is specifically for Roman. Who has the most intense training regimen, Gus or Badlands Pete? Badlands Pete, also of Essential NPCs fame, Series 9. Check it out.
Yeah, he ain't real, but he was in Series 9.
Right, but if he was real.
If he was
That
real,
means
he'd be
Pete
in
ain't
Series 9.
real, y'all.
It's Gus, easily hands down. Because Gus actually like trains as part of his day. Like he's like a farm boy, like wakes up early, like exercises, works the field, like to like warm up his body and stretch and like work the fields and do all the stuff he's got to do. Like does like some cool down exercises at night. Like he has a very specific and like boxing like, drills and practice and stuff. He has very specific training methods. Badlands Pete does not train.
Yeah.
He lives super hard all the time, and he's got that old man strength. Like he's strong, but he knows where and how and when to apply force to get what he wants. Like it's all economy of movement, like with like sort of like legendary like prowess because you don't live by yourself in the Badlands for like 50 years and not be like competent with yourself and with your surroundings and able to handle yourself. So like he just lived hard for so long that he got super good at it.
Yeah, I mean, Badlands Pete's morning regiment is, of course, to eat a dozen roperite eggs raw, and then
he found that morning.
Hunt and eat raw roperite eggs, and then
He takes the roperites and he whips the tongues up around a tree branch and he uses that as his heavy bag.
And I hear like it would be hard for Badlands Pete to have a really strict training regimen because I hear that when Badlands Pete does a push-up, he actually pushes Manifest down instead of pushing himself up. And like that would be really bad for like everyone involved. So like since he's a good soul, he does that very little.
Totally mess up the orbit.
He tried to train with a heavy bag once, and then now that's how we got the punched peaks.
Yeah, and then he punched the peaks.
Yeah. nothing can really hold up to that sort of strike.
And moving on, we have another one from Argitlam that says, other than the cost, is there anything keeping you from doubling down 2 or 3 times in a turn? The answer is no.
I
Yeah.
thought you just weren't allowed. I've been
I
told
also
I'm
thought
not
you were
allowed.
Oh, wait, doubling
Yeah.
down. God, this whole time I was like,
Yeah.
oh, flashback. I was thinking about, I was like, I was waiting for, I was trying to tee you up to be like, yeah, I did that last campaign. Because for some reason, doubling down got conflated with flashback in my brain. The answer is unequivocally no. There are certain grid expenditures that are marked as being able to be used multiple times. Doubling down is not one of them. Doubling down specifically, you can only use once.
I did think of at a con, I will happily sign this into your book. The dumbest way to double down twice is to take your turn, double down, and at the end of your double down, flashback to have taken a turn before your first turn.
And then double down. Yeah. And then that's all 12 of your grit.
Oh
Boom.
no.
I want to. Can you imagine? You punch some dude 15 times in a row.
Yeah, in one of the early play tests, we did let double down be a thing that you could do as many times as you had grit, and it just turned out to not be extremely fun. Because it completely unbalanced like encounters. And then also usually meant like that one player just did a bunch of things while everyone else was like, cool, I wanted to do stuff too. And just all around, it was just like kind of feel bads and kind of like derailed sessions. And so we very quickly were like, one feels good. One feels good.
It was also cheaper.
Oh yeah, it did
but
also used to be way fewer grit.
One of the things that I'm like really picky about as far as like game development goes is I don't like stuff that makes your turn go longer. And so like there are certain D&D classes that I dislike because of that. And so that has definitely been marinated right into the bones of Manifest. As far as like it used to be, there was some animal companion thing where there was a Warrican and it had like 7 attacks, and it was like then the person had 2 attacks and then they doubled down and it was another 12 attacks, and it was like this can't happen anymore, specifically because I can't sit here for an hour and a half for you to take your turn. I've cooked dinner and I've come back. And that's very much my thing. That's like, I can't.
The other part of it also is all of the grid expenditure. There's no like special GM version of the grid expenditures. They're all the same for the GM. And so if you were allowed to do it multiple times, a bad GM could just be like, and now I take 5 turns in a row.
I cast Time Stop with my grit.
You all die.
Here, wait, I got a quick question. If you've got Soul Punch activate, and I forget the name of the real talent, Iron Palm.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Palm lets you, for the rest of your turn, your unarmed attacks. I think just unarmed attacks. Ignore armor.
Mm-hmm.
Does that count for the double down turn?
No, the double down is
Or just for
another
the
turn.
first? Okay.
Yeah, the double down is you take
was curious,
you
'cause then you
take
could
an
just-
additional turn without spending initiative.
God, I could punch so many people right in the soul if that was not the case.
And then one final question from Argit Lam through the Discord is, last week we discussed building a tank in Manifest, but what about a somewhat lower end spot, as seen in Essential NPCs seasons 2 and 5, the Shadowrun seasons? Go check them out if you're into Shadowrun.
God, Argulam, you don't know how many times I have tried to get Tommy to let me put wings on a car.
Spot was Dan's character's van that was extremely heavily armored and was effectively like a lot like a tank, except for it didn't have. Did it have mounted weaponry? I don't think it did. Right?
Yeah, it did.
Oh well, like
Tommy,
that you could. Sorry,
your
that,
sister wife.
no, that you could shoot. That you could shoot, but I couldn't remember if it was like there was a gun that someone else could shoot.
We talked
no,
a lot about a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle door, but we never made it.
There was no way for someone else to hop on the gun and use it. It was all controlled by the driver.
Was
In
it?
addition to all of these things, it was a really bad helicopter, which is better than no helicopter at all.
And Dan will stand by that.
Yeah, Boomer wanted to be able to use it, but I don't think it ever.
Yeah, so in
got
Manifest,
fixed.
there's currently no way for you to turn a car into a flying vehicle in any shape at all. But as far as making a van that is extremely armored and very good at killing people and transporting your friends safely through a significant amount of firepower, absolutely. 100%.
It ran into us last campaign.
Yeah, the fucking the bullwhip. That was that's you don't even, you take the bullwhip, you don't even need the like hover tech that the bullwhip had, and you have Spot. Absolutely. Yeah, the bullwhip. Go watch those episodes of season 1, which are, I forget what they're called now. They had fun names. I thought I'd remember.
That's the one
The
in
one where
Canyon, though, right?
the one where me and Seth almost die in a car crash.
Yes.
You wrecked my truck. I'm so mad.
I did not wreck your truck. My future wife wrecked your truck.
I think that's the same. You owe me a truck.
You want a truck? I'll get you a
It's
truck.
not often that in Manifest I successfully completely destroy someone's vehicle. Usually they can bring it back, but in this particular instance,
that was to shreds, you say.
And we did get a question from Carnaxis in the chat that asked, check a thing. From Carnaxis in the chat, do you have plans to set up Manifest for virtual tabletop systems and or online character builders?
That sounds like a question for me. The answer is yes. It is not available yet because I have a prototype in Roll20 that is extremely buggy. We do have some macros that we can, if you want to start playing now. But the character sheet in and of itself, and also the like digital like adventure packs and stuff like that are being prepared, but are not yet released, and that's kind of a while off. But we've said that we were going to do it before. But yeah, basically my technical prowess is I've been trained to database, so reading cascading style sheets and crappy HTML is hard, but I am learning. And when I finally finish learning, you guys will have character sheets to work with. Yee. That's it. I hope that's a good answer.
All right.
It's true.
Argetlom says, unsurprisingly, I think, a character builder program, if created, will be the place he spends most of his time. That's
I'm really excited about it.
I'm right there with you.
It's not there yet, but hopefully soon. Man, that's a lot of characters.
A ton.
All right. With that, I think we've gone through all the questions in the Discord, all the questions in the chat. We will wrap up for this evening. We are going to be back again April 27th. April 27th, we'll be back. That'll be, I believe,
that's the day we get our shot.
Yeah, that's the day that Dan, Addie, and I all get our second shot of the vaccine, which, like,
get the juice.
I've understood whatever side effects you may get from that second shot usually don't kick off until the next day, so presumably we'll be fine for the stream. But I will say, I guess there is a slight chance that Dan, Addie, and or myself will all feel like total crap on the 27th, and we might have to postpone. But current plans are no postponement. We plan to be here with sore arms and bells on, ready to continue this story now that our 4 drifters are finally out of the constraints of having to tiptoe around the militia and can choose their next path as they please. And I don't, the past few times we've ended the stream, there really hasn't been anyone for us to raid because we run so late into the evening and there's only so many tabletop RPGs on Twitch. Nope, it looks like we are the last ones. We're closing out Twitch for the night. So
tell everyone else on Twitch it's time to go home. Shutting down the website. Come back tomorrow at 8.
All right, thank you all so much for watching. We will leave you with this beautiful music from our very own Seth Lilly, a song titled Waypoint.
Hey, that's where we are.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.